Hey everybody, it's Friday night.
April Tom's Day.
I totally forgot it's April 1st today. Yeah. Well, because I said to him I was setting up the broadcast, and I was like, what should we name this? And he immediately said April Tom's Day.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Being a fool.
Yeah.
Being a fool.
Oh shit, you should have worn like a jester hat.
I don't have one.
We don't have a jester hat.
Yeah,
I used to have a jester hat. Where the fuck did that go? I bought it at Disney like a million years ago, but I don't know what happened to it. It was red and purple and shiny.
So who we got in here? They're just all showing up now.
Oracle's there, Oscar's in there, Ian's in there, Sabrina, Hugo,
Oscar,
Tammy's in there.
Yep.
Everybody.
Yeah, they're all.
Hey Tammy, I ate the last of those white chocolate truffles today.
I ate only one of the.
Well, the chunkies are big.
Chunkies, yeah.
The chunkies.
Still got that cookie butter right there. We were thinking about what that would be good on. Is it just good on toast, or do you maybe like animal crackers or those?
Yeah, I mean toast would be good because people put like fucking Nutella on toast.
Probably pretty good
or
on vanilla wafers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Probably.
Or like animal crackers.
Yeah, animal crackers.
Yeah, I feel like some like a cookie that isn't like super sweet.
Yeah.
That is like kind of
butter
mild
cookies.
flavor, like butter cookies or something.
Yeah.
Or it might be good. It's you know what? It might be good on just like plain crabs, like saltines.
Might be good on sliced apples.
Oh yeah. Well, I think Tammy even said that.
Oh yeah.
That it was good on like pieces of banana and like apples and stuff.
Probably.
Yeah, because honestly, like apples with like dipped in peanut butter is delightful. So I'm sure that's probably like.
It's just fattening.
Well, yeah, but you got to have a treat sometime.
Okay.
In this cold, horrible world, where it's like hard to find happiness. Yeah, Tammy said I eat it mainly on apple slices or bananas.
Right.
Yeah, see, so you're getting fruit. It's healthy, goddammit.
Yeah, Graham's in.
Gramthars here.
Yeah, they're all showing
Every
up.
time he refers to himself in the third person, it's like it makes me laugh.
Yes.
I need to start doing that.
Yeah.
No, I don't. It probably wouldn't be as funny if I did.
What's up, Poopy?
Cape Guy says, Pop here, just off 2-day with my 4-year-old grandkid. Fun, but the house looks like a bomb went off. It's amazing how quickly a child can just decimate a fucking area.
Well, they just don't put anything away.
Yeah, they're just like, it's almost kind of like they come into a room and just like, just toys, pshoo!
Yeah.
And there's Legos and shit all over the place.
Yep.
That's just funny.
So the Phantom of the Opera show seems to be a success. Everybody liked it. We need you guys to come up with some more subjects for us that are kind of like
Rebecca had a great idea. She sent to me and I put it in the poll on Patreon that went up this morning. She, on Instagram, she said, oh, you guys should do, like, similar, but do a show about, like, the real stories behind, like, Grimm's fairy tales. Because some of those were based on real things that happened as well. Like, you know what I mean?
I don't know.
So,
no, I didn't know that they were.
Yeah. Well, some of them, like, obviously they didn't, like, you know, there's not witches and stuff. But, you know, some of them were kind of based on real things.
Well, Billy Goat's gruff is, you know, don't talk to them bums sleeping underneath the damn bridges. Shit like that, you know what I mean? Old ladies might eat you. Crazy old ladies might eat you.
I mean, they might. You don't know.
Yeah, there's probably
if they were hungry enough.
There's probably a lot of cannibalism.
Gotta watch those old ladies, man. Gotta watch those old ladies.
Well, if people were poor, you know, in certain areas.
They're like, wow, that baby looks so succulent.
Yeah.
We started already. No Need for Me Too said, I just finished watching Red Letter Media cover Darkman. Yeah, it's weird because I think like a day or two after we put our thing of Darkman up, they put theirs up. Because I watched it earlier today, too.
What'd they say?
A lot of the same kind of stuff. Like, they're both really fans of that movie. I just thought it was funny. I said, well, maybe it's just that a lot of people are doing it because Shudder just added it. I feel like maybe
people review the free shit.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing. If you already have, I mean, we have several streaming services. Yeah. We have Shudder, we have Hulu, we have Amazon Prime, and then there's free ones like Tubi and Pluto and stuff like that. And there's, you know, and there's a bunch of shit on YouTube too that you can watch for free. So it's like, we'll pay for a movie if, you know, we want to see it bad enough.
Yeah.
Like, I don't mind renting something for, you know, $3.99 or whatever. But most of the time, we're going to err on the side of let's find something that's free. Well, it's not free since we're already paying for it, but
you're talking about Bluebird was probably you know.
Ooh, that's a good idea too. I'm gonna put that in the next.
Yeah,
because I see I wrote down Brothers Grimm here, but
yeah, there's stuff behind that, you know, warning women about predatory men. I mean, that was way up into the 1800s. You had guys who would marry women one after another and fucking take out life insurance policies, kill them, move on to the next town like serial killers. That dude's doing it.
Yeah,
and we're not doing it to fucking worthless women either. You know, young, good-looking, beautiful women. One that you would keep. It's not like he's doing it to, you know.
Not like this one you just kill and throw in a dumpster.
Yeah. High-value women. Well, no. You know what I'm talking about.
I mean, I know what you mean. You know, it was exactly just funny the way you phrased it.
Yeah, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's not like well, okay, they had guys that were doing that to old hags.
Yeah.
You know, for a whole living, you know, fucking seducing old hags that had a lot of money. You get them to sign over their fucking, then you kill them. They had guys that did that.
I mean, shit like that was shockingly common back in the old days.
Yep.
And there was a small percentage of women doing that shit too.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, not
widows.
Obviously not as large as the dudes doing it, but yeah, there were some women doing it too.
It was easier for a guy to get away with it because he could travel more openly and fucking go from one place to another and open up a new life and a new identity. Because it's common for a single guy to be traveling around, not so much a single woman.
Yeah, not in those days.
No.
Yeah, so it was harder to like keep a low profile.
Yeah, they had to stay in one area. Well, real quick, they'd go in. Hold on, 80 of your husbands died. You know what I mean?
That seems a little fishy.
Within a few months of you marrying them, and you had insurance policies for each one of them. Yeah. Because they had women that would do that.
Well,
they were fucking psychos. It was like Munchausen by proxy.
Yeah. Well, I told you guys before. I think I mentioned this before, but I had been watching the show. It's on TV. I've watched them all now because there's like 50 something episodes on there of a show called Bizarre Murders. It was on Tubi, and I don't know what channel it came from originally, but there was one case on there that really made an impression because it was these two old ladies that were in like a really nice like swanky rest home in, I think it was in Florida. And their whole shtick was that they volunteered at a homeless shelter, like at a place where homeless people would go to get food. Like they, go cook and serve people. And they would find a homeless guy that they thought didn't have anyone in the area. And they would be like, oh, we think you're so talented and awesome. Look, we have this apartment you can live in and we'll give you like a monthly stipend or whatever. And they're like, all you have to do is just sign this little piece of paper right here. And they were like, okay, whatever. And then they would run them over with a car.
Yeah.
So it looked like an accident.
Right.
And like two nice little... And they weren't poor. They weren't... I mean, because I think the reason they started doing that was because they were in this really, really nice rest home, and they were like, well, I guess their savings were running out.
Yeah.
And they were like, well, we're going to have to go to, like, some fucking ratchet, like, you know what I mean? Like, rest home.
We need somebody to die, right?
So we need to, like, kill off a bum.
Yeah.
And, take out insurance on him. But that's the thing. It's like... I don't know, but I mean, they only did it once. Well, did they do it once or twice? I think they might have done it one time and nobody... Because who's going to suspect two little old ladies? Nobody.
I remember that story, vaguely. The one about the guy who was killing all the young wives. And he was supposed to be like an okay-looking dude. He wasn't anything great, but he was marrying like little hotties. And he'd stay married to them for a few months, take out a life insurance policy on them. And while they were in the bathtub, he'd go in there and grab their feet and pull their feet up like that. And I was like, how the hell do you drown somebody in a foot of water? Well... You
can drown in a puddle if the circumstances are right. She can't
sit up.
Yeah.
Because she's already bent up, so she can't get her head out of the water. And he'd drown them like that, and then reposition them and fucking make it look like they got drunk.
They must have just fallen asleep in the tub.
I think he made it look like they were getting drunk and falling asleep and drowning themselves in the tub. Or put laudanum or something, wasn't it? He gave some kind of plausible explanation of what had happened. But then he'd collect his reward, and then he'd sell everything off and move.
Yeah.
Go and do it again. And do it again in another state.
Yikes.
And I think that particular guy, they tracked down. I think, didn't he put some Pinkertons on him to try to figure out
maybe I'm going to have to remember who that... Because the thing about it is that, the details are saying there was more than one that did something like that. So it's hard for me to like come up with. There was like a couple that like poisoned a bunch of motherfuckers too. Yeah. Like Thomas Neal Cream and those kind of people.
Yeah.
That they thought was maybe Jack the Ripper.
If I remember correctly, from memory, if memory serves, I think that they pretty much nailed it down. That dude killed at least 12 people doing that. All of them women, pretty young women. We're talking about early 20s.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Why not just settle down and fucking have a normal family life with some,
Because well, and
he there had to have been more to it. He must have been a serial killer, literally. Yeah. You know,
but the dumb thing about that, and I kind of feel like, see, this is what, I think that the reason that they keep doing it is because it's not just because they need the money or shit like that, but
they want to kill him.
Right? They just like want to kill him because you would think, and don't take this the wrong way, but you would think that if you were going to do it, look, I'm going to take the plunge. Yeah. I really need a lot of money. I'm going to like marry somebody, take out a insurance policy, and then I'm going to bump them off.
Right. And then I'll have a nest egg. And
you would think that if you had a big enough life insurance policy, a couple million, like you wouldn't have to do it again. You're like, okay, that's it. One and done.
Money couldn't have been the motive.
So I kind of feel like even though money was either that or they had some other things like a gambling addiction or some other shit like that where they just kept blowing fucking money. You know what I'm saying? Thank you very much, Trey. Awesome, just showing up and Trey. Right out the gate.
Yep.
Hey guys, there's something going on with Patreon. It won't let me back into my account. I'll have to check on that later or in the morning when I'm not hungover or whatever, or I'm not drunk or whatever.
What if we got?
But anyway,
hopefully we didn't get kicked off Patreon.
No, we're still there. Okay. I was just on there today.
Okay.
Because I was like fucking with the. Yeah, I was just fucking with the polls because our poll went up this morning, but I changed a couple of the topics because somebody gave me some good ideas. Like I said, the grim fairy tales one. Gramthars says, discussion night. Who is the worst person you ever met? That was one question. 2, how to make your woman listen and obey.
What? Where's this?
Gramthars is asking questions. That's a good question.
Oh man.
The worst person you ever met. Oh my god, there's a lot of competition in that area. Who was the worst person I ever met? Now, I'm not really sure did I ever meet anybody? I mean, I've met some people that maybe were like serial killers that I didn't know about. God damn. I'm trying to think of like who the worst person
I'd have to say Peter Murphy. Worst impression of ever.
Really?
From that dude.
That didn't even enter my mind. I wasn't thinking of celebrities. I was thinking of like people I'd worked with, or I know who.
Yeah,
I know who.
Yeah, the dude you worked with.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not gonna say like what it is or where it is or anything like that because he's still around and he doesn't live that far from here. Yeah. But yeah, he was, and like I said, I'll probably think of somebody even worse than that. But yeah, that dude was something else. He didn't do anything to me personally because he was terrified of me. But I don't know why. But yeah, he sucked. He sucked a lot.
How to make a woman listen and obey. That's what you said, right?
We listen. We just don't want to do what you guys say.
If it matters to you, you're already a beta. That's the problem. You shouldn't care if she's listening or obeying. You should be doing your own thing. Okay? She should, who cares if she's not listening and obeying to you? What does that matter? Yeah.
I'm kind of like, if you care about it,
then you've already lost it. You've already lost.
Yeah.
Because, if
you want somebody to obey,
if you can't take it, you just leave.
Well, and the thing about it, do people still have the obey thing in their wedding vows? I'm sure some people do.
I'm never worried about it.
That seems so archaic. That just really seems archaic.
That was back when...
That was back in the old days when, like, bitch, you better do what I tell you.
Well, that was back in the day where fucking she may have not have been a willing bride.
I
think that's, pawned off, kind of sold off, for the dowry by her parents type of deal. Or a shotgun wedding. Yeah. Like that. She's pregnant. Bitch, you better obey. Women didn't make money back then either.
Well, they weren't allowed to.
Yeah, somewhere.
I mean...
I'm not so sure about that because, man, I read old books and they were working on farms and going to market.
Well, that kind of stuff.
They made money.
But they were closed out of a lot of
I don't think they could make a whole bunch of money.
No.
They probably had restrictions about whether or not they could do banking transactions and things like that.
Well, do you know
that may have been by state.
Even in the United States, as far as I know, in all the states, please correct me if I'm wrong, but a woman could not, or as far as I know, I don't know if it was just a single woman or a married woman, you could not open a credit card in your name alone or a checking account until the early 1970s.
Yeah.
You could have one if your husband was also, if it was like a joint account, but you couldn't open one by yourself.
Yeah, that's kind of some archaic shit even back in the 70s.
Well, yeah, that's what... I was shocked.
Yeah.
I think it was 1974 they overturned that. That
must have been holdovers from the very late 1800s, 1900s, probably just mostly at the state level. Because I think a lot of those laws had to do with preventing runaway brides and runaway daughters. I think that's what that... And keeping your daughter from eloping and that kind of shit.
Or maybe they should look into why those women were running away in the first place. Maybe they had good cause to.
Bitches are crazy.
You know how we do. We're all crazy.
She won't listen.
Like I said, we do listen. We just think y'all are full of shit.
It was another time, you know. And like I said, it all going to depend on state. And another thing is fucking your ethnic background's gonna matter. A white woman was not very free. She was worth money, literally. So she was not kind of like, especially if she was from a rich family. So her dad kind of had custody of her. Her whole purpose really ultimately was to be married off to some other rich dude.
Well, that's why there's a
bunch of money.
That's why there's still, like I said, I don't know if they still do it in weddings nowadays, but they still had to obey shit in the vows, and that was why your dad gave you away. Yeah, because you had to be like under a man's protection, and then we're passing you on to another man. There, bye.
Yeah,
there you go.
But some poor chick in a dumbbell tenement in fucking 1800s.
Well, yeah, they didn't worry about it.
Or damn fucking some Mississippi.
I mean, you had to work.
Louisiana sharecropper girl at fucking
Everybody
13.
had to work. The kids had to work, or they'd all starve.
Yeah, white or black, they didn't matter. They really didn't matter. They weren't worth much, you know, to the families that they were part of. They might have been almost kind of a little bit more like a hungry mouth to feed half the time. So nobody really cared where they went or if they ran off, you know. And if you were kind of like of that class, you were never really going to have enough money at one time to even worry about a bank account. They kept cash in the house, you know. It wouldn't have been much at one time.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They probably didn't even have the money to open an account. Right. It was probably just like, as soon as we get money, we got to spend it on shit. We had to pay rent, or we got to pay for food or whatever.
Banks were only for rich people.
Yeah.
Normal people didn't have anything to do with banks. So the whole thing about women not being able to have banking accounts and credit cards, that really probably didn't become an issue for 90% of the women until the modern era.
Yeah,
because they weren't.
Well, until after the Second World War, I would think.
Right, because
although maybe before.
Maybe before, because there were single women running around New York, you know, fucking finely dressed and living in apartments and living by themselves and talking on the telephone, and you know what I mean. So
it was kind of scandalous back then.
Yeah, but they had women that were totally modern, living like a modern person of today, back in the 20s.
Yeah.
You know.
But like I said, it was kind of scandalous.
Kind of.
Yeah.
But there was nothing anybody could do about it. They did it anyway.
That's right, bitches.
Just look at Mae West.
Yeah.
Mae West was like that.
Yeah.
And she did shit that was just scandalous for the era, like have black boyfriends.
She's like, fuck all y'all.
She liked big black dudes, you know, and fucking everybody knew. And they would like kind of say, you had to read it between the lines, you know, in the newspapers, you know. And, you know, she showed up with her big, strong, strapping, handsome black bodyguard again. You know what I mean? Fucking, yeah.
Bodyguard.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, he guards my body, all right.
Yeah. Well, she had him dressed up like a chauffeur.
I mean,
he was the chauffeur. He drove her around.
Yeah.
You know.
Mae West was the shit.
Mae West was the shit. But everybody knew.
We should do a show about Mae West. Well, actually, one of the wait, did I leave it in there or did I take it out? One of the things in the Patreon poll that I wanted to do like more tales of old Hollywood, because remember we did that one before and we talked about like small boots. We talked about like Fatty Arbuckle and stuff like that, and I kind of wanted to do another one like that with like more with other stories, because I know there are a lot of we could talk about her on that if that ever won. Gramthars also says, more topics. Working at Disney. Good paying jobs or hot and boring under that Mickey Mouse costume?
Terrible jobs. We know people that work there.
Yeah, it depends on what you do there.
Yeah. The more glamorous it is, the worse the job is.
Yeah, I kind of feel like the pay isn't great.
Yeah.
I mean, in Florida, the wages are pretty low, for just across the board. And, cost of living is lower too, a bit, but I mean, shit, I was a graphic designer with, 10, 20 years experience, and no job would offer me more than like $15 an hour. You know what I mean? Whereas in a big city, I'd be making many times that. So there's that. But like, so Disney doesn't pay that great. They don't, as far as I know, like, because we know a lot of people that worked there in varying, positions. Yeah. They don't really treat their employees all that well, from what we've heard.
Yep. And we can talk about it now because most of them won't work there again. They don't work there anymore. Most of them. I dated one of the Sleeping Beauties. Jenny couldn't stand her. Jenny hated her. She was fucking kind of annoying, but
yeah, she was very annoying.
Anyway,
I mean, I wasn't just being an asshole. She was
kind of annoying, but it was fun. Anyway, it was just like horror stories, from her. She was good looking. She looked like Sleeping Beauty, looked like a drawn Disney character, which might be kind of goofy looking, but she looked like one of them. You can see them. She could dance and she could sing. She would do through the whole thing. They used her image in commercials, corporate commercials and stuff. Don't pay them a dime. Not a dime. It's almost damn near minimum wage job.
Thank you, camp guy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Something that she aspired to be a waitress. Because that's where you made real money. And I was just going like, what the fuck is wrong with that place? And it's because they got a lot of suckers that want to be in the limelight and will take a job like that because they think they'll get ahead just to be famous for a few years in your mind in the park, but they're using you up. The mechanics are making much more money.
Yeah, I really would not.
I don't understand.
I wouldn't go the performance route. No. I mean, if you work behind the scenes, like in a technical, then that's probably better.
Yeah.
But performers, I feel like, kind of get fucked.
Totally.
And especially if you work in the parks as one of the costumed characters, I would absolutely not do that in any way, shape, or form. Not only is it unbelievably hot in those things, and plus you have kids like kicking you in the balls like pretty much all day. But, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard from multiple sources that they make you share like undergarments. They only have like so many undergarments and they only like wash them like so many times, like they go under these costumes. I don't know if that's true or not, but I've heard that. But the insides of the costumes, apparently, I think they have some kind of like air conditioning mechanism, but it doesn't really work all that good, and apparently they smell really bad. And,
yeah, there's big rivalry between the people who, they call it face versus fur rivalry.
Yeah.
The girls and the people that you can see their faces, those are kind of like the upper echelon performers. The people that are in those furry costumes are the lower echelon performers. And there's like a rivalry between them. Then there's all these fucking rules that you wouldn't think of. The face girls and the princesses. A lot of them, to really pay bills, are doing cam girl jobs. And who knows, maybe escorting. Because they don't pay them shit.
Yeah, they really don't.
Yeah, and they have expensive tastes in things. So they had to have all these fucking rules. Like, if the company caught you performing as those characters in pornographic roles and doing fucking cam
don't wear
girl
that
jobs,
Minnie Mouse suit.
You can't
when you're doing the porn.
If they ever fucking catch you being a Disney princess and during a cam girl session, fucking your ass is grass. They'll sue you and everything.
I mean, Disney has all the money.
Yeah.
So they will just sue you into
right.
a little bitty... They will take all your money and your house and your car and your children and
because they had girls who were those characters at the parks and then bought their own costumes and were fucking making extra money on the cams and proving that they were fucking the real thing, showing their pictures from work. Make a lot of money. They got their fucking asses sued into oblivion.
I mean, don't get on the wrong side of Disney because they are very, very litigious. Yep. They will sue the shit out of you.
Yep.
Honestly, I don't know if they still do this nowadays, but back in the old days, you so much as like painted Donald Duck on the side of your daycare, and they would fucking sue your ass.
Thank camp guy.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, they're just kind of dicks. Like I said, that's a while back that they did that.
Yeah.
But Do you remember? It was like some dinky ass rinky dink daycare somewhere. I don't even remember where it was. And they painted some Disney characters. They just had like a local artist come and paint some Disney characters on the side. You know what I mean? It wasn't like a big deal or anything. And Disney found out about it and sued them.
Okay.
At which point, Hanna
said that not anymore. They fought that and won. I don't know what you're talking about. The girls fucking wearing their costumes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's referring to something we said.
I don't know
earlier.
what he's talking about. You have that. Okay.
But I was gonna say, and this was like years ago because I remember reading about it. But Hanna-Barbera, I think it was Hanna-Barbera, they were so like incensed by what Disney did that they stepped in and went to the daycare and said, "You can paint our characters on the side of your shit if you want." So they could paint like Fred Flintstone and shit like that.
Gramthars says more topics. 1, hot gal chicks sitting at a bar. Do normie dudes have a chance of getting some strange? Absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
Probably
2,
not.
Who would you rather party with, Gary Newman or Trent Reznor? Newman.
Big time. I don't even have to think about that.
I ran into Trent Reznor and what's his name? Marilyn Manson. What's his real name? Fucking our friend Brian. Yeah,
Brian Warner.
One of our best friends came up with Brian. He's from here, and I ran into him in the French Quarter. Trent Reznor is not really a goth dude. When you see him, he's going to be fucking wearing fucking Bermuda shorts and a fucking tan tank top and fucking.
Does he have fucking Crocs on? He probably has Crocs.
Well, it was before Crocs, but he'd be wearing.
Well, now he'd probably
flip flops and shit.
But they're so comfortable.
Driving around in his fucking used fucking Ferrari, listening to his own albums. But that's another story for another time.
So douchey.
Yeah.
I think you've told that one before.
I've told that
like
story.
where he was outside the thing, like listening to his the stereo came on and like his own.
Head like a hole was on.
He was listening to his own shit in the car.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Yeah, that was that was down at the French Quarter at the Hellfire Club. And Hellfire was Pierre's place, and I think he might have had another name for it. No, I think it was called Hellfire Club. And but no, there was several people would blow in and out of there. It was a private club, you know, and it wasn't really open to the public. Goss knew where it was, and he'd let you in because technically it was his house. But it had a dance floor, a DJ booth.
Yeah, they had all kind of
lights.
like legalities that you
it had fucking an upper loft with a fucking mattress up there. It's where I fucking met my first wife. Fucking, we was getting busy up in there. Yeah, she's regular too. And ran into people that you would like, what? And they were really cool. One of them was Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer was up there, and me and him were watching a fucking fetish show. And he was buying the drinks. He says, "You guys are great, man. You guys are great." He's like that. But
Jerry
you would think
Springer's lemon.
Jerry Springer would go to the fucking back in those days would go to the fucking Bourbon Street all the time. He loved New Orleans. And another one that we ran into showed up, and when I'm saying a club, it's pretty small. You know what I mean? If there were 50 people in there, it was packed. Mostly there would be like 20 people in there. Everybody knew each other, and then there'd be like guests that show up. Gary Oldman was in there. I didn't recognize him though. At first.
What? Like what year was this?
It was 1998, maybe.
98.
About 98, maybe 99, 98, around that time.
I'm trying to think what he looked like in 1998.
Just looked like a dude.
Well, I didn't expect him to look like a fucking.
He looked like Commissioner Gordon.
Galapagos
he looked
tortoise.
Like he looked in Batman with Commissioner Gordon.
Okay.
You know what I'm talking about?
So
he looked like that.
Did he have like little glasses and he kind of looked like?
Yeah, I think he did. He had
like
a mustache and fucking just jeans on and a t-shirt. He just looked like a regular dude.
He didn't have like a hair butt like he did in the.
No, none of that vampire stuff. Really. They just let him in because.
How funny would that be if he wore the hair butt wig?
They just let him in because they knew because
it's Gary fucking Oldman.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? Tell him no?
He let him right in. Pierre let him right in.
He's famous.
Because
you're Gary fucking Oldman.
You could find out about the place over the old internet. That's usually how most people fucking found it. Searching for a goth club in the French Quarter over the old internet. And you'd find, because there were lists. Remember there used to be lists of goth clubs?
Yeah.
In the old internet, and you could show up.
Yeah, the International Goth Club listing or something like that. And it was just like a black site with like red links.
There was no public door.
It went by state and then country.
Yeah. Well, you would just see the bottom of a staircase with a light and bars and a doorbell. And if you ring the doorbell, a few minutes later, a fucking goth chick in big old fucking black dress and a fucking veil, looked like a fucking morning dress, would come down and ask you what you wanted. And that was Pierre's wife. If she didn't know you, she asked you what you wanted. If she knew you, she'd let you in. And then she'd talk to you a few minutes, and if she liked you, she'd let you in. But it was his house, but it looked like a club inside. It was a club. He was selling liquor in there.
Well, like I said, if you frame it as a house party, then you can get away with. You don't need a liquor license.
Right.
That's
it was not open to the public.
Laws.
He was not actually selling liquor. You were supposed to donate.
Yeah, that's how you get
to
around
help pay the bill.
Sure.
To pay the booze bill.
Could you BYOB?
No.
No.
But money was never.
That's what probably.
Money was never discussed. Really, you know what I mean? It's just that every time I got a drink, I'd fucking give him $10. I didn't ask for any change back. It's usually how it went. You know, the bartender would just take the rest.
Well, that makes sense.
There was never
I said, you're not going to get into, you can skirt the laws as long as you don't have. I mean, as long as you're not breaking the fire codes.
There were.
And as
there
long
were open candles in there.
Oh shit! Okay.
It looked like something out of damn Interview with a Vampire. There was fucking French. There was that fucking French moss hanging fucking from the inside.
Well, nowadays they could have like the fake battery powered candles.
Yeah.
So probably
no, they had real
safer.
candles going in certain little cul-de-sacs and stuff, and weird like Santeria fucking shrine up in the wall, that kind of stuff. Just that neat shit like that.
Neat shit.
Yeah. And it had French doors that were like windows that would open up and you walk out to the outer balconies. It was like it was a door and a window at the same time.
Well, yeah, that's what French doors. That's what French doors.
Right, yeah. It had those all throughout the out.
Were they stained glass?
No.
Oh, too bad.
It was impossible to fucking. It was hot in there. It was impossible to air condition it. Only one room was air conditioned, his bedroom, and when people were in there, it was locked. You couldn't get in there.
Well, yeah, he didn't want people pawing around his fucking bedroom.
Yeah.
Bob Apple says we should do a show about Gigi Allen.
Yeah.
We probably should. That might be a good
New
show.
guy named Ty, he was fucking friends with Gigi Allen. Up in Boston.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said that Gigi was great until he started getting attention by fucking being an asshole, and then he would never complete his show.
Yeah, we were talking about that.
He was mad at Gigi. He said Gigi, he was really good when he would actually perform.
Well, like I said, if it gets to a point where he's like, well, shit, why should I, work and, produce anything when everybody's just going to give me money for pooping on my hands and, throwing it at him?
Yeah.
Then shit, that's much easier.
Jeffrey sent us $10.
Thank you, Jeffy Art. I live down in Wilton Manors, Florida. My rent is nearly $1,500 a month. 1 bedroom, 1 bath, which is considered cheap for the area. Working 3 part-time jobs just to make it and love every minute of it mostly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying Florida's cheap, but the cost of living is lower down here than other places.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Our mortgage here is fucking about $2,000 a month, man, and it's 2 floors with fucking all this fucking room in here. Owning a house is the way to go. Apartments are not really the way to go.
Depending on where it's at.
Depending on where it is, yeah.
I mean, the thing about it, I owned a house before in Daytona, and after that, I kind of swore I would never own one ever again because it was a fucking nightmare. But the house that I owned was old.
Yeah.
So every time something breaks, hey, there's termites, or hey, there's this, that, and the other, you have to pay for it. It's not like you can just call up the landlord and have them fix it for you. You know what I mean? So there was that.
Maniac, I heard that, from what I remember, they told me he got killed in prison. He didn't get killed in prison? Okay.
Who,
he said
Gigi Allen?
That he died in OT in a hotel room.
Yeah.
The story I heard is that it was prison.
No, I don't think he was killed in prison.
Okay. That's
yeah,
just
I thought
how
he just
remember.
OD'd.
Okay.
DJ Maniac says, and Jello Biafra is not gay.
He just pretends to be gay.
I think maybe people think that because of his voice. Is that why?
I thought he said he was gay.
No, I never heard him say that. I think people, I think that maybe sometimes if people have that perception of him, it's because of the way he talks. Of that, he has the quote unquote gay voice, kind of. I don't know. I can't really think of any other reason why you would think that.
I know somebody told me that.
Victor says, I have a little 3-bedroom new construction and my mortgage is $1,200. My 1-bedroom apartment was $1,050. Okay. Yeah, honestly, even in Central Florida, you're not going to get a decent apartment for less than $1,000 a month. And actually, probably not for less than $1,200. You can get an apartment for that, but it's not going to be in a good neighborhood. I'm going to tell you that right now.
Giallo may not have been, or excuse me, Gigi, maybe he didn't die in prison, but I heard a fucking compelling fucking tale of how Jim Morrison really died. Like, these are some people that were hanging out with him in that era, evidently, and the story that they told sounds a lot more plausible. That French apartment that he lived in that apartment because his favorite bar was on the ground floor and a couple buildings up the road, you know, so less than 100 meters, maybe 25, 30 meters, something. So he could walk from his apartment down to that bar. And in that bar, it was part of like the French heroin scene. And he was evidently making a lot of money selling heroin and dealing heroin. And he had gotten addicted to it. And evidently, on the night in particular, he got a new shipment of some product in, and he went into the bathroom in there and shot up to try it. And it was so good that it killed him. And he laid in there for a while, you know, a half hour or so. And he was friends with the owner. And the owner fucking busted in to the stall, and they got him out of there, and he'd been dead. So the owner and his friends, and I think his girlfriend, carried him up the road, carried him up the back alley to where he lived, and took him back to his apartment. And they put him in a bathtub of fucking hot water and tried to warm his body back up. And then they called the police and said that he died of alcohol poisoning in the bathtub. And the French authorities didn't believe it. They figured evidently the French authorities knew it was heroin, but they didn't want to make him look bad because they were kind of fans. So they said alcohol poisoning.
I mean, it's not, nobody killed him, really.
No.
So it's not like they were letting a murderer run around.
But that sounds a lot more plausible, and that it came from pretty good sources, and that sounds more plausible how he died. And it was kind of typical of that era. They would die of heroin overdoses, but the media would cover it up and say, no, it was alcohol. So that would mean that Janis Joplin, maybe, even though she drank like a fish, that might have been a heroin overdose. And maybe the same with Jimi Hendrix, because they claimed the same thing with him, that he died of alcohol. No proof, but...
Yeah, I mean, you can still die of alcohol poisoning. Yeah. It's not crazy. People die of it all the time.
Which meant that Bon Scott maybe died of a heroin overdose. It was just typical for them to, if you died of a heroin OD, they try to cover it up and say it was alcohol.
And say that, because that sounds like not as bad.
Not as bad, right.
Because at least alcohol's legal, I guess. I don't know.
The thing is with Jimi Hendrix is that he worked a lot, that's not typical of a heroin addict. So,
well, the thing about it though is that's not because that's not like true across the board, because Nick Cave was a heroin addict and he worked his fucking ass. He had like albums and novels and shit. Right. He did all kind of crap.
I guess some guys can resist.
So he didn't sleep the whole time.
Right.
He put out a lot of product when he was on that shit. Amazingly.
Yeah. And so did Steven Taylor from Aerosmith.
Steven Tyler,
Taylor. Steven Tyler fucking he put out a lot of albums too, but evidently fucking all of Aerosmith was fucking bad junkies in certain periods of time. But then they kind of snap out of it and make some albums, and there was heroin epidemics during those times, kind of come and go.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were kind of onto that shit, but like I said, it's not going to affect everybody the same.
Yeah.
You know, most people, they just kind of lay around and sleep all the time, but apparently not everybody. And like, to be honest, like with somebody like Nick Cave, it's kind of like he was admittedly, a junkie at the time, but his the quality of his output didn't suffer. Yeah. Like his albums from that period were all like really, really good.
Murder Hornet said he sent me some Flocka. Okay.
Really?
Yeah, man. If you send me some Flocka, I'll do some Flocka.
Don't you eat my face off.
It'd be like... Let me do the Flocka dance.
The Flocka.
Let me try to see if I can do Flocka. Flocka's like this.
Is that's
That's how they do Flocka.
Okay.
Flocka makes you repeat yourself.
Oh my god.
No, he didn't send me Flocka. He's just fucking with me. We were fucking sending.
Although, how funny would that be if he actually did send you?
You don't have to send anybody Flocka. Flocka's all over this place is not worth anything.
I mean, yeah.
I think you can get Flocka for $5.
Really?
Why would you do it?
Well, some people do, so they can think of a reason.
It's fucking bottom of the fucking barrel.
Well, if you want
to,
that's the thing. If you want to get fucked up and you only have $5, I guess that's kind of like the only. It's not like they have an option of getting better shit. You know what I mean? Can't judge them too harshly. They're like, look, I want to get fucked up like the rich people, but I only have $5. Here, take this stuff that'll make you eat your friend's face off.
Yeah.
And you'll like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it always looks different, evidently.
Well, there's kind of a thing where, I don't know, I kind of feel like there's this weird thing where people think that poor people shouldn't be allowed to, like, enjoy themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're not allowed.
Flocka will fry your brain.
Well, I know. I'm not saying you should do Flocka.
Flocka.
That doesn't follow from what I said. But I'm just saying that, you know, everybody kind of has a right to enjoy themselves however they want. But don't do Flocka, seriously. Kaylon Higgins says $2,000 in LA or near most coastal areas probably only get you a studio apartment. Yeah. I mean, honestly, it's getting like that here too because, as I said, yeah, you can find a studio or a one bedroom maybe for $1,000 or $1,200, something like that. That's okay, but sometimes it's going to be in kind of a sketchy area, so it's not that much cheaper.
Apartments in general are not a good deal.
Now, years ago, before we moved in together, so this was like 11 or 12 years ago, I had an apartment in Winter Park.
I looked down because there's such a delay here. I saw the Flocka dance. The Flocka dance was funny.
I had an apartment in Winter Park that was 1 bedroom, and it was cheap. It was only, what was it, $650, $680, something like that. But this was like years ago. This was
Tila
like,
jumps up. Happy April Fool's Day, y'all. This is fucking April Tom's Day.
It's April Tom's Day.
What's up, Tila?
Thank you, Tila.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I actually got that apartment for like really cheap. I think it was $670. That's how much it was, which was cheap even for then. Now and I will say that because you went to that apartment a few times, the neighborhood was not awful, but it wasn't really all that great either. Like, I never super felt like I was going to get murdered or anything, but, you know, it wasn't somewhere
It's just kind of typical, kind of just...
Well, most of it was like college. It was like
Yeah.
UCF students, mainly, because it wasn't that far from UCF. So a lot of it was just like students.
Yes, Tila, I have usurped the holiday. I usurped the holiday. It should be transnational now. That it's Tom's Day. Okay.
Oh, just admit
Biggest
it.
fool out of all
Admit
the-
it. You want every day to
And
be
you missed my
Tom's
Flocka
Day.
dance because I did the Flocka dance.
Yeah, you're gonna have to back
I had
that
to
up.
back it up and see the Flocka dance.
It's pretty epic.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say.
I was on Flocka. Fixing my belt.
I know. I was like, I didn't understand if that was part of the dance or if you were just
that's the
doing
dance.
that for practical reasons.
No, that's what that dude was doing.
Oh, okay. I don't watch videos.
You never seen
of,
Flocka
like,
dance? I'm gonna show you the real thing. I'll fucking pull up that video.
I mean, I remember you find it like I remember watching it like a long time ago.
Yeah, I'll show the
but,
audience,
yeah.
man. Fucking, I'll show 'em.
Like I said,
Oh, you know what?
don't you eat my face off.
They're asking me about fucking Meg, and then they're fucking... Meg was that biker girl I posted a video of her. She was actually up here.
Oh, I haven't even seen that.
Oh, you see that?
What'd you post it on
posted-
Instagram or Facebook?
Both. Instagram and Facebook.
I don't look at your damn Instagram.
I can send it to you. I can send it to you. If I send it to your messenger, will you be able to put it on the stream?
No.
Okay.
How's that gonna work? I can't do that. I mean, I'm sure there's probably
It's
somebody.
just
that, but-
Meg is showing her Sportster. Her boyfriend is a builder down in Clearwater.
Oh, okay. Is he a Scientologist?
No.
Okay, that's good.
No, she was funny, though. She was talking about Scientologists and stuff.
Oh, so she
She knows all about it, yeah.
Well, yeah, I guess you would. You kind of have to
Yeah.
living in Clearwater because they're
Yeah.
fucking everywhere, like cockroaches.
All right. See if I can turn the volume up. I'll do it this... Oh, shit.
You fucked it up.
I fucked it up because... Hold on, I'll turn the earphones off. Okay.
Jesus Christ.
She's gonna show me her Sportster. Show me your Sportster, Meg.
Alright, so this is Sportster 1200 S edition. That's the sport. That's the raise the pipe. We got the dual front brakes, the 4-spark plugs. She's in the process of being rebuilt. Eventually, the whole engine will be completely blacked out.
Yeah.
The handlebars will be orange, and we'll have some orange and black accents going on throughout the whole bike.
Ooh, I
That's
like
a nice
it.
sports car. I like it.
Orange and black is a
It's
nice
kind of a rad
combo.
bike right now, but like you said, you can do what you want with that.
Yep.
Yeah. How long you had
It's
that?
a bike builder. He works for Beach Bum Customs LLC in Clearwater.
All right. How long have you had it?
I have had this bike for 2 years now.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, all right. Well, I'll put that up on my Instagram.
Hell yeah.
Thank you.
Okay.
Brad says, I'm in Destin, Florida. I want to come down and party, you guys. Okay, well, you can if we ever have a party. We've been talking about having a party at this fucking place. We probably should get some furniture first.
Just meet us at the club. I ain't bring these strangers up in the house.
Y'all may trash the place.
Yeah. I'm gonna show this cat here. This cat here's got some nice titties. That cat's
He
got
was
some
showing
nice.
me that before. I
Yeah.
was like, and I turned around and I told Pookie, I was like, did you see that? Daddy
Yeah.
wants to put titties on you.
Cat's got some in the wig. Look at the other cat's like, what the fuck? What?
Well, I love how the cat with the tits is just like, yeah, deal with it. I could never like get Pookie to sit still long, and she'd be like, fuck that, what are you doing? Stop touching me.
She tells us to shut up.
She
You telling
did.
us to shut up?
She's like, you're not putting boobs on me, Daddy.
Okay.
That would be really weird. You're her dad.
I think last week me and Jenny went to the Japanese restaurant up the street, and I said,
I have that video
yeah,
on here.
Jenny,
You
why
want
don't
me to show it?
Show the video. Yeah,
I
I've never
actually
seen
have
the
it in
video.
here. I meant to show it
Yeah.
on the last show,
Yeah.
and then I got drunk and I forgot.
Yeah, so
But I had it all set up in here.
This is Momiji restaurant.
Yeah, we've talked about, and like I said,
2
this
miles
is
up the street.
Eustis, which is kind of, it's not as in the middle of nowhere as it used to be,
Yeah.
but it's still kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, and you'll have dudes, fucking linemen and construction workers and shit in there eating sushi all day, all times.
Middle of nowhere as it used to be.
Uh-huh.
But what is that noise? Okay,
Just
but
turn
yeah,
it
this
down.
is it. This is it. This is it. I thought the audio was on for that.
We'll figure it out. Try it again.
You want me to try it again?
Oh, I see it. See, it says off.
No. I'm not on that anymore. I'm not on it. Hold on.
When you're getting ready to start. Oh, here
Okay.
comes the sap.
Sorry.
Yeah, is it going?
Yeah.
Okay, this is Momiji's. It is the local Japanese sushi restaurant right up the street from our house. This has only been here for a couple of years, but you can check it out. This is Florida, in the middle of nowhere.
It is, but it's deep fried. So for the momiji roll, it's gonna be deep fried.
It's deep fried? Okay. Well, I think I'll try that.
Sure. Anything else you want to do?
Yep.
You got a good salad.
Yeah, I got my soup just now. We just now ordered, so
Yeah,
I'm
it's
getting
not
the-
here yet.
I'm getting shrimp tempura bento box. That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm getting the three sushi rolls.
There you go. That's
Yep.
what we're having. All right,
You got the foods here. It looks great.
there we go. That's
Yeah,
Jenny's
3 different
lunch,
kinds of rolls. Got that for $15.
and then that's Tom's
Yep.
lunch right there.
Yep.
Check that.
Yeah, looks good.
I'm gonna dig into this
Comes
right
with
now.
Comes with those nice chopsticks too.
Okay, it worked that time. I just had it on the wrong setting. That's all it was. Yeah, it is. And actually, like, looking at that again, I was like, oh, now I want to, like, eat that shit again. It was, like, so good.
Oscar's asked me if I got the package that he sent. I don't remember what package that you sent. Which package was it?
I mean, did we check the mail today?
No, I didn't check it today.
Oh, shit.
It might be down there.
I mean, the mail, the mailbox is so far.
Yeah. Oh,
Because the driveway is so long.
Yeah, talking about how that food, how good that food is. That food is great.
We have eaten there several times because, like I said, it's right up the street.
Yeah.
And we've never had a bad meal there.
Nope.
I mean, and if you go during the week, it's a lot cheaper. Like, if you go on a weekend or dinner, it's, like, kind of expensive. But if you go, like, during the week, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah. I would say, and I've had Japanese food everywhere, including, Boston. And I haven't had it in New York, but there isn't any difference between Japanese food in Boston and New York. Really about the same. And I'd say it's on par. There isn't a substantial difference between it. Now, what I showed you guys eating, you could go up to there's an all-you-can-eat buffet. What's the name of that fucking place that we go to?
I can't remember.
Yeah.
I know what you're talking about, though. Koi Wan.
Koi Wan. Koi Wan's big. It's got an indoor fucking koi pond and like a river and little Japanese bridges that go over everything.
That's a massive place.
Yeah, it's massive. And you can get similar to what we got in there, but
it's not fresh, though.
Not really fresh. It's been sitting there for a while, and you can just stuff yourself for about $15. But it's everywhere now. You can find good food anywhere.
Yeah, not like the old days.
It's not like the old days. There was good food fucking downtown Hattiesburg, Mississippi, which that's fucking nowhere. Good Chinese food, good American food, whatever.
Yeah, you can't really...
They had an Indian restaurant there. It's fucking great.
Which is crazy, because like when we were growing up, that never happened. That would have never happened. Gramthars Hammer is asking some more questions.
Yeah.
Who gave better hand jobs and blow jobs, Brazilian girls or Trenton girls? He has to think about this for a minute.
Man, they were both good.
Well, that's a pretty diplomatic answer.
Yeah, they're both good. I don't think there's a substantive difference really. Teenagers are teenagers wherever they are. Well, and
I kind of feel like teenage boys are just kind of like, hey, as long as somebody's touching my dick, I'm not really like all that concerned.
No, it's not. No. Fucking Gramthars knows exactly what we had. Taste, Gramthars. We had taste.
We were discerning.
Yeah, we were fucking upper echelon motherfuckers back in those days. What was great in our era is that. And it's probably still the same way now. Teenage girls of our generation were into it. I mean, they gave it their fucking all. It was like a big deal for them that they were fucking having sex, so they were gonna they were trying to impress you. When people get older, it's fucking, the women are kind of like, yeah, this is the same old shit for the past 30 years. Yeah, no, I'm going to get the fuck away with me. That's just the way it is, but. Fucking teenage girls are gonna like, okay, I'm ready, let's go.
Teenagers in general, because
they got shit to prove.
They're discovering things too, so it's just kind of like you're discovering what you like. Once you're like old, you already kind of like are established. You've had a lot of relationships. It's like not really the same thing anymore.
So the difference in the sex between North Americans and South Americans is not really in that age group. There's not a big difference. What was different is that Brazilian girls were a lot more mature for their age because they were able to drink and go to nightclubs what would be considered way underage for Americans. Like they're in their 15, 14 years old, drinking, dancing, and living an adult life at 14. And it was normal there. They weren't messing around with adults. They were messing around with other teenagers, but they're, going to nightclubs, drinking alcoholic drinks and it was, taking cabs and shit. They weren't even driving, but taxi cabs are everywhere, so they take cabs. So the difference is that a 17-year-old Brazilian girl was kind of like a 21-year-old American girl in terms of development. So you had to be on top of your game. South American women are, especially Brazilian women, are high in physicality, and prowess. The culture is a little bit different. Women are a lot more aggressive because it's not considered macho in South American culture to be pursuing women. You're supposed to be better than that. You're like a lion, just sitting there waiting for them to come to you. And they do there if you got game. If you got game, they do. And how do you have game in South America? You got to be good looking, handsome, young, and have a rich family. Then you got game. And a car. Yeah. I had all that shit back in the days. I had game back in the day. But it's just I liked South America. It was a great culture. I could go all throughout all of South America and Central America and fit in. Portuguese and Portuguese and Spanish are real close. The cultures are real similar. And no matter what you see, these cartel wars and all. Central and South Americans are a very kind of warm-blooded and hot-blooded people. It's usually kind of man-to-man, person-to-person. You can talk your way into trouble or out of trouble depending on what's gone down. I could go anywhere and fucking make it. I mean, I'm fucking confident as I could even fucking deal with fucking drug cartels and fucking walk out of it live and make friends with them. Cause why? Because I'm not in the drug trade. So I'm no threat to them. I would just go, man, it's a fucking badass gun, dude. Really, and then I'd start asking them questions about their lives and how they got involved in this. And if you have empathy for anybody, you can make friends with anybody if you show interest in them, and give them personal respect. Because I don't know these dudes. I don't know how they got involved in that. Maybe they didn't choose that. Maybe they were kind of forced into that, but then got into it over time and. I don't know their backgrounds.
Yeah,
so
you never know anything.
You never know exactly what happened.
Sure.
So you don't just go, oh, you're bad. You could get yourself killed. You do that to the wrong person. You always listen to a person and try to figure out who they are and where they come from and give them the benefit of the doubt. If you don't know them, But I can make friends with anybody.
Gramthars also asks, Florida tourist, pain in the ass, or endless economic fountain? Why not both? Florida
We don't really notice them because everybody's kind of a little bit from everywhere.
The thing about it, I think I noticed tourists more when I lived in Daytona because they were, every time it was spring break or bike week or something like that, they were drunkenly falling onto my lawn and whatnot. So I did actually notice them. So they were much more of a pain in the ass. You couldn't get to work, you couldn't get to school because everything was the traffic was backed up. And honestly, they are kind of a pain in the ass because people come from everywhere and then they try to drive on I-4 and I-4 is a fucking shit show. Although it's better than it was because they've widened it. They actually did a lot of, they've done a lot of construction on it the last couple of years, which has actually helped a lot and sort of, made it seem so the congestion isn't as bad. But even still, driving out, to go out Saturday nights and stuff like that, you're still kind of taking your life in your hands because half the people on there are on something, half the people on there don't really know where they're going because they're not from here, and then there's another portion of people that are just fucking crazy and said, I'm just going to drive 120 miles an hour for no fucking reason, and, and are just weaving in and out for, for whatever reason. So yeah, it's horrifying. But they're a pain in the ass. But Central Florida, that's our main, that's our kind of our main thing that we make money on. So they have to come here, otherwise we're all kind of in trouble.
T says, I love. If I have sushi, I need lots of wasabi. I'm horrible at Japanese food eater.
I don't even like wasabi.
Yeah.
I like some kind of sushi, but not others. Usually I'll pick something more like I said, I'll usually get tempura or something like that.
T says, I do love tiki restaurants, though. Hawaiian, Japanese fusion. Yeah, there was a tiki restaurant in Southern California we used to go to all the time when I was a kid called Kelbo's. It's a legend now. And it just looked like a damn lighthouse with bunch of Hawaiian trees, and you went in there and it was just dark and damn. You could never have a restaurant like that nowadays. It would be a health hazard. But there's no damn fucking stuffed blowfish hanging from the ceiling and fucking divers and shit and all these stained glass windows with peanut butter sandwiches fucking smashed in them and weird things. You can find pictures of Kelbo's in there. The walls were like bamboo walls. They looked like they were bamboo. And then each little booth was like a cubbyhole. You'd go inside, and on the left was a drink menu, and it would light up like a lit up sign. And it was pretty, you know. And man, it looked like a love motel. It's exactly what it looked like. It was tiki as fuck.
I'm into that though.
Yeah, and it was dark in there. You know what I mean? It looks like you could get a blowjob in there and nobody noticed.
Yeah, nobody would notice.
But it was like it was a cool restaurant. It was fun, and it had a certain smell when you went in there. It smelled like barbecue sauce and fucking whiskey. And they had real good barbecue sauce, and they had egg rolls. The egg roll is about 3 feet long and chopped up, and you could pick it up and eat it and dunk it. Open-faced barbecue sandwiches with pineapple and fucking barbecue sauce and coleslaw on it. And, Chinese ribs, Chinese spare ribs. So it was like a mixture of... It was tiki, you know, which is 1940s interpretation of what Hawaii was. There wasn't shit Hawaiian about it. Nothing Hawaiian about it. It was just a cool restaurant. It's gone now, though. Kelbo's. You can look it up.
Tila said, my uncle always said, I want a woman I can take to the White House and to the hood. She's got to be versatile. Yeah. That's kind of good for anybody, I feel like. No Need For Me Too says, low-level functionaries in any legit or illegal aren't NPCs. They're real people. Best way to get in and social engineer shit is to treat people decently. Yeah, I kind of feel like that's true of any... I mean, just don't be an ass right out of the gate. Like, you know, treat people nice.
There's this famous video going around right now about these two American gay dudes. They get stopped by the drug cartels. The drug cartels jump out and fucking point guns at them because they were going down the wrong road out in the middle of nowhere. And they're freaking out and hyperventilating, crying, and the drug cartels, it's okay, man, it's okay. They're fucking calming them down. The drug cartels are calming them down. Don't kill us, don't kill us. No, it's okay, man, it's okay, man. It's okay. They just turned them around. Don't go down this road.
Well, it's like, hey, don't point guns at me and maybe I won't cry.
They didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
They didn't know who they were. And in Spanish, they're going, they're lost. They're lost. And they go, who are these guys? And they hear, they're lost. And they go, they don't speak Spanish. He goes, they're gringos. They're just, you know.
Yeah, it's like, it's fine.
They're gringos. And they go, no, it's okay, man, it's okay.
Yeah, I'd be crying too if someone's like a whole bunch of people were pointing fucking guns at me.
But people are people.
Yeah.
You know?
Generally.
Yeah. Well, a lot of those fucking cartel execution videos, they're executing hitmen that killed their people. So they do this shit with extreme malice, most of it. And some of that shit that I've watched is fucking, berserk. I get videos from Mexico sometimes, you know, fucking some con will send me some, or fucking Bee's Nest will fucking send me a video of what they did. They'll be cutting people's arms off at the elbow with a pocket knife. You can hear the fucking blade scraping through the damn bone, and there's some girl screaming, you know, and they throw her arm in front of her and shit, you know what I mean? Then cut the other arm off, and then fucking slit her throat, and they're bad. I mean, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I would really have to hate somebody a lot to get fired up into such an inhuman range. I mean, you'd have to be really bad.
You'd have to really, really hate a motherfucker.
Yeah, right.
I mean, I could probably, if I hated somebody, I could see myself if I hated somebody enough doing that, but...
There has to be some kind of
I'd
reason.
have to really hate you.
Right. Because people are like, well, wait a minute, this is inhuman. That's not the way human nature is. I've seen the extremes of human nature. Violence is usually goal-directed. They're usually trying to achieve something, or they think it's justice. That's why they're doing it. They don't think it's unfair. They think it's fair. It has to do with the point of view. The things that boggle my mind is when it's a serial killer doing it for sexual gratification, and he's getting off on the fact that it is unfair. I can't see that. I'm not down with that. That's too cold fucking blooded. It's because it's the same thing, these dudes putting a damn cat in a cage, pouring gasoline on it, setting it on fire. You know what I mean? I'll put your ass in that cage and set you on fire. You know what I mean? It makes you. That's what I feel like I want to do. But they got dudes like Grams out there, like federal agents and shit, going, "I'll catch your ass for doing this to that." I understand that because we're within a framework of law inside a supposedly functioning civilization. Well, if you look at what's happening in other countries where this weird shit's going down, there is no functioning civilization, really. The civilization is a facade. It's fucking very, very a very, very thin facade. Underneath it, it's actually savagery. If you kind of trace the money, those cartel guys are actually the authorities because the people that are paying them are elected officials or ruling oligarchs who own the democracy that people vote for. So they're supposedly voting for this democracy, but it's just window dressing. It's really those cartels and the rich oligarchs that run those cartels. They're the real authorities.
What?
Which means that it's still kind of something medieval, you know? Which makes a lot of sense because that's a very robust form of government. It's been around for thousands of years. That's why parts of Central America, well, actually Central America is like that. South America is like that. Its democratic institutions are a facade. They're like a thin facade. That's not the way it really is. They're oligarchies. They're the ultimate form of organized crime. But more you find out about what's going on here in the United States, so are we. It's just that corporations are involved in it. Our democracy isn't real. It's just to make it look good. That's all. Let me go get a...
Refills?
Yeah, refills.
Tila says, Jenny, I rewatched Mommy Dearest and The Devil Wears Prada. Both are so good. Oh my god, I love Mommy Dearest so much. I saw it a million times on cable back in the day. I remember liking The Devil Wears Prada too. I might have seen that in the theater. Did I see that in the theater? I kind of feel like no, maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I saw that on like fucking... Well, see, the thing about it is that I saw a lot of movies. Like, I used to work with a guy who used to pirate a bunch of movies. So he would loan them to me all the time. So I saw like a bunch of movies that I probably wouldn't have seen otherwise, and I think that was maybe one of them. But Mommy Dearest is absolutely my favorite. And I don't think I've ever read the book. I actually would like to because that sounds like some fucked up shit, you know? Like that whole situation. I mean, I wasn't there, but thank you, Victor. Jenny getting her summer bod. Am I? Okay. I don't know. DJ Maniac says, and the edibles just kicked in. I made my drink for the show because I just made it like half an hour before the show started. And I thought I put a lot of vodka in it, but apparently I didn't because it wasn't nearly as strong as when Tom makes it. So I guess Tom makes me drinks and tries to like fucking get me super sloshed. That's what he's doing. Murder Hornet returns, says no wire hangers. I mean, that movie is just so... It's like, it's a camp classic. I mean, the shit's not funny, because if that shit really happened like that, she, like, really fucked up those children, and that's terrible, but... yeah, Mommy Dearest and Devil Wears are really good double features, over the top, both of them. Honestly, all I remember from Devil Wears Prada was the revelation that... Oh, thanks. That, what's her name that was in it? Not, shit. She was just in that movie Colossal that I reviewed the other day. What's that? What's the name? That, the revelation that she was, fat at a size 6. Which I was kind of like... I mean, I know that they were, like, making fun of that because, like, the fashion industry, you're supposed to be, like, super scrawny. But I was just kind of like, really? Like, she's fat? Okay. Wow. That's terrible. DJ Maniac says, well, I watched Joan Crawford in anything. Yeah. You've seen Mommy Dearest, haven't you?
A long time ago. That's when she was abusing her bedridden sister, right?
No. That was, what was that? Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte? No. That was the other one with Betty Davis.
Yeah, okay.
No, Mommy Dearest was the one with,
Faye Dunaway?
With Faye Dunaway, yeah.
Yeah, about child abuse, I think.
Yeah,
right?
where she was, like, beating up her daughter, Christina, her adopted daughter.
Yeah.
And the son, too, but they didn't really... It was based on Christina's memoir, so it was mostly about her.
No need for me, he says, take away the electricity, the comforts, and scare the shit out of people. You see how quick people turn into animals. Yes.
Anne Hathaway, thank you. That was
yes. All you gotta do is just look at fucking Katrina, and I was there. Yeah. Even the cops running. The cops taking their patrol cars and running to fucking Mississippi and fucking Texas. Yeah.
Tila wants us to do a rewatch on Mommy Dearest.
Okay.
We should probably. I really love that movie.
Yeah.
I saw it a million times back in the old days. Yeah, Whatever Happened to Baby Jane.
Whatever Happened to Baby Jane. That's what
Yeah.
it was called. Yeah.
And then, well, that I was thinking of the other one with Betty Davis in it, which was Hush Hush Sweet Charlotte, which is also good. Man, Betty Davis was in Burnt Offerings when she was older. Remember that? She played like the older aunt.
Yeah.
I love that movie. I just reviewed the book not too long ago too. Oh, that's fucking great. That's one of my favorite like haunted house movies from the 70s, and I feel like a lot of people don't talk about it.
And my face was looking swollen in that video of me at the damn fucking restaurant. Did my face look fucking puffy? I think it did. My fucking face looking
Am I
puffy?
puffy?
Face looking puffy as fuck.
He's always like coming in. I say, do I look puffy? Do I look puffy?
That fucking test will fucking blow you up, blow your face up, make you fucking look like you're on a rag. Yeah.
Tom's on the rag.
Yeah, and they give me
Film
fucking
it
high
around.
blood pressure pills, which are diuretics that bodybuilders use them to fucking try to fucking piss out a lot of water. So I have to like double up and triple up sometimes on them diuretic fucking little pills to fucking keep my blood pressure down low. Fucking piss that shit out. I need a tan. I need a tan. I need to put on fucking. I need to lose fucking another 10 pounds of fucking fat and put on like fucking 15 pounds of muscle. I'm gonna go on a fucking diet, man. I'm getting what do you call it?
I don't know what you call it.
Getting a complex.
You always
Getting
had a complex.
Get body dysmorphia.
He's getting body.
Getting body dysmorphia. Getting
You are.
Yeah.
You get anorexia.
Mm-hmm. Getting anorexia.
You are. Tila said we'll just call you Puff Daddy Tom. You don't look puffy though.
No, I look puffy. Okay.
Well, maybe you just perceived that because you didn't have a hat on, and it's like, you know, so you just like your little bald head.
Yeah, I was looking too much like Bruce Willis. Bruce Willis hit his bald face. Bruce Willis retired because his. I
mean, but Bruce Willis is a lot older.
Yeah,
than
he's a
you,
lot older
and he
than-
looks a lot older than you as well.
He got to where Bruce Willis is. He can't remember any of his lines. He's hitting mental decline.
Well, he's got
some kind of disease.
What is it called?
Well, it just means your
yeah.
memory's fucked up, but I think
Yeah.
it's from fucking mini strokes or something. Little
Yeah.
strokes. And he can't remember his lines, so he's going to retire. Which is good because he got to the point where he'd be in any fucking movie. He'd be in anything.
And not in a fun way, like
no.
Nicolas Cage will.
Right. And then the dude from Sonic the Hedgehog and the dude from The Mask, what's his name? Jim Carrey, he decided.
Jim Carrey.
Yeah, today he announced he's retired.
I'm ambivalent about that.
Yeah.
Well, honestly,
he saw fucking old Chris fucking Tucker get fucking punched, slapped, and he came
it wasn't
out.
Chris Tucker.
What was his name?
It was the other one.
Fucking what's that dude?
Chris Rock. Comedian.
Chris Rock.
Chris Rocker. Yeah, Chris Rock. That other comedian.
Yeah, fucking. Oh, fucking what's his name? Will Smith. Will Smith fucking slapped his ass, which I'm not 100% convinced it was legit. I think it might have been staged. There's something sideways about it. But he fucking punched him or slapped him, and then Jim Carrey came out and says he'd had enough. He says we're not the cool kids anymore. This fucking sucks. He's like Hollywood sucks. He says we're not the cool kids anymore, which he's right.
The thing about
YouTubers are fucking cut and fuck YouTubers, fucking podcasters, and fucking independent film people are now the cool kids.
well, YouTubers even now we're getting long in the tooth. Everybody, it's all about
we're still
TikTok
good.
now.
Yeah, TikTok. TikTok. But see, the thing is that TikTok will have to expand if those kids are going to have to. TikTok, I don't think you won't have a long life on TikTok.
No, probably not,
You won't
because
have a long
that seems. I mean, I don't know. It's you know, I don't like to tell the future because I don't fucking know what's gonna happen. DJ Maniac says they just added Ken Russell's The Devils to Shudder. Bitch, what?
Yeah.
Oh my god, we're gonna have to do a matinee on that. I love that fucking movie. Victor Garcia says during the winter storm last year when we lost power in Texas, I ate my neighbor's dog on day 2. So there's people asking us if we've seen X. Now Bob Apple says easily the best horror movie of the year. Victor said X was boring. Luckily I was drunk watching it. I kind of wanted to go to the theater and see it. I mean, it's like I don't know. I've heard really mixed reviews. But I don't know. We'll see. I do want to see it. Betty Davis was badass. Indeed, she was. Yeah, so what are you talking about Oliver Reed? Because he was in...
He's man would scare me. I was
him
a kid.
and Michael Caine.
Him and Michael Caine would scare me when I was a kid. Yeah.
You really need to see Women in Love. If only... Well, no. Look up on YouTube. I'm sure somebody put it on there. Look up Women in Love naked wrestling scene.
I know, but I've seen the scene.
Or... I can't even remember what the context
that
of
would have
it
scared
was.
me. That would have scared me when I was a kid. I used to watch, movies with him and fucking Michael Caine in it. I'd be about 12, between 10, and actually probably between 10 and 14. And it didn't matter what the movie was. They'd start talking and they would do a close up on their faces. I'd start getting scared, like a monster was gonna fucking jump out and get me, even though I'd seen the movie already. And knew something wasn't going to happen. Oliver Reed was real good at scaring you.
Well, he was a very intense person.
Like something might happen. I've seen this movie before, but maybe they'll insert a scene right here where a ghost will jump out and get
Maybe
me.
something bad will happen.
Something will happen this time. Maybe they changed it. I'd get paranoid.
I understand that as a kid. Because like sometimes... thank you, Victor. Here's some money for the Cloverfield review. I fucking love Cloverfield. Oh, well, you're very welcome.
Write that shit down. Did you write it? Okay.
Write that shit down. No, I did Cloverfield.
Okay.
I reviewed it.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah, I reviewed it.
Connovation showed up. Mexican Superman. Okay. Says, I heard the grapevine that Chris Rock and Giallo were a thing back in the day. Maybe. Maybe right. Maybe Jada was fucking his ex. I don't know. People are saying, well, he's a cuck and this and that. I don't think that's what it is. I think they're both pretty alpha, I think. It's just that... I think they have a professional relationship. I think they're more like exes. They have kids together, so I think they're just holding the fort together, and they date other people. But I don't think and they stand up for each other. It's just that what he did, I don't know, man. There's something about it that makes you think that it was staged, because he didn't insult her. He just G.I. Jane joke. There's nothing to that. She's bald. She lost her hair, alopecia. But it doesn't matter. She looks great bald.
Well, as I said, even back in the 90s, because she was in a movie we reviewed not too long ago, like Tales from the Crypt Demon Night, and she wasn't bald in that, but her hair was like, she might as well have been. It was like really, really short. And that was like when she was young. You know what I mean? That might have been before they even got married. I can't even remember.
Nobody watches the fucking Oscars. They just don't. All right, it's got terrible fucking ratings.
most people kind of like just like, well, what did everybody wear?
Yeah.
Like the next day, you just want to look at the pictures.
It's something from another era.
Although I didn't even do that this year.
The Oscars are something from another era. Back when Hollywood was the only game in town. It's got a lot of competition now. The quality of the product's not good. The universe has opened up a lot. Young people probably didn't even know what the Oscars are. The ratings for the fucking past several years have been shit. It's not a fucking serious thing. You know what I mean? There doesn't seem to be any class to it or anything. It's just kind of boring.
I mean, I just look up the movies that won because I'm like, oh, maybe I'll watch those if they sound good. You know what I mean?
It's like it's something for old people.
But I'm not going to sit through like a 4-hour fucking show of everybody sucking themselves off. No,
I kind of got a feeling that Chris and Will were like, Will's like, man, I'm going to win an Oscar this time and nobody's going to see it. And he's like, well, what we ought to do is maybe we ought to act up and make a scene. And he's like, yeah. I mean, and then later, Will, I think, maybe ad-libbed that. And it fucking maybe went over the fucking top. So I think there was an element of reality, but there may have been an element of like, we're going to do something to get some attention. And he didn't really know which way it was going to go.
It worked.
And it would have worked. Because everybody saw it. Everybody saw that Will Smith got an Oscar. And fucking Chris, evidently his shows are now selling out. They got fucking some people paying $3,000 to get special fucking tickets to go see him.
Again, it worked.
So, yeah. So that goes back to P.T. Barnum, where he says there's no such thing as bad publicity. And drama sells. All right. But, like I said, other people are like, man, fuck this. And then they left.
To be honest with you, like, I heard about
Jim Carrey's like, I retire.
I heard about it, but I honestly, I mean, I'm really into movies, and so a lot of times I'll look up like who won just because I'm interested to see like movie, and I was like, oh, that sounds good, maybe I'll watch that if I haven't seen it, or oh, good, that one was nominated or whatever. But I'm not gonna sit through the whole show because it's boring. Sometimes I'll look at pictures of what like their people's dresses and stuff, but I didn't even do that this year because I'm kind of interested in like fashion and stuff. But other than that, like, I heard about what happened, like I saw the headline, and then I think I thought about it for like 2 seconds. I'm like, do I care enough to click on that? Nope, I don't.
I can remember being a kid. In the 70s. The Oscars would be on, and my mom would have like it would be like a big deal, like it was fucking like a seasonal event, like Christmas, because it was. When you were being channeled down through television, which only had like 4 network channels and a couple of local channels, everything that was on television was a big idea.
Well, everybody was watching.
Everybody was watching it, and that's what your social media was. But that's not the.
And then everybody was talking about it the next day. But like I said, everything's kind of like, you know, diffused nowadays. Yeah. Like everybody's into their own shit.
That's not what it.
Which, like I said, you know, in some ways, maybe you could argue that like we've lost some social cohesion because everyone's not on the same page. We're not all watching the same shit. But I would argue that it's probably better because at least, yeah, there's a couple downsides. But honestly, I kind of feel like it's better that people. There's so much shit out there now that exactly what you like. You can find that, and you can find a bunch of other people that like that same thing, and you can just go into that niche and go do whatever you want.
You've democratized the market.
Yeah, I like that much better.
Yeah, it's a lot better.
I don't really
and it's taking money away from people that don't deserve it, and really, most of the old system does not deserve that money. Think about it. Those Hollywood studios. If you look at their past catalog of what they've been making over the decades, 90% of it is shit. Movies that are forgotten. Same thing, over and over and over again, just bullshit. And it's because it came from an era that was pre-television. It was television. It was television before television. You can't have that anymore. You can't have mass movie production of just random bullshit and expect to survive and compete in this. Every one of those movies now has to be a masterpiece in order to make it. And they can't make masterpieces, not anymore. Not the studios.
Masterpieces are still made, but they're on a smaller scale.
Yeah, not by those big studios.
On a smaller scale.
Masterpieces are going to be very rare coming out of a big studio. They're going to be more common coming out of fucking independent creators and smaller studios outside independent studios.
Well, I've always been a big advocate of if you're a movie maker, and like the thing about movies that's different from a lot of other creative endeavors, obviously, is that you have like a large crew involved. So you have like a lot of people. You know, if you're writing a book or painting a painting, it's just like one person. So it's their vision. Yeah. So you're seeing that. A movie is like a bunch of people working together, like a big team. So it's not really, yes, the director gets all the credit, but it's not really their entire thing. So I do kind of feel like, I don't know, it's just movies that are good, it's kind of like lightning in a bottle. I've seen so many bad movies that, to be honest, I'm always kind of shocked when a movie comes out good, because I know I've seen how badly it can go wrong.
A movie for it to be a masterpiece really has to be the vision of a very small amount of people. It can't be made by a committee unless it's a tentpole movie, and that they know the formula to make a tentpole movie. It has to conform to that formula. You can't do anything fucking crazy with it. All right, like the Fast and Furious shit that we saw, that with the Jason Statham and this. Those are great. It's just a tentpole.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Hobbs and Shaw, yeah. There's nothing intelligent about that movie.
It's just a big dumb
nothing intelligent
explosion.
Just,
although I have to say we did have fun watching it, but I don't remember a single thing that happened in that movie.
No. Same thing with the Meg. Dumb as fuck. Meg was dumb.
I also don't remember a single thing that happened.
Had a good time.
But it was a good time. I had a good time watching it. But it wasn't memorable.
Now, masterpiece in recent era, Joker. Joker was a masterpiece.
Yeah, I still remember shit.
Very uncomfortable. I was uncomfortable through most of that movie. Going, God. Ugh. But man, I got it. Somebody sent it to me. Who sent me that?
I can't remember.
I haven't watched it yet because that movie is not fun to watch, but it's kind of informative. It's a deep movie.
I don't mind stuff that's not fun to watch.
Yeah.
Like sometimes it depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I just want to watch something fun. Usually if it's like it's later at night and I'm tired, like I've been working all day, it's like I don't really want to like think too hard about anything. Yeah. So I just usually I'll put on like riff tracks or something like that. Like last night, Amazon Prime added the riff tracks version of Kingdom of the Spiders.
Yeah.
With the Shat.
Yeah,
it was a delight.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so... Although, okay, I had forgotten this, because I saw Kingdom of the Spiders a lot back in the 70s. When did it come out? 78? Something like that.
Something like that.
76, maybe. I can't remember. Did they not have... Or did animal cruelty laws not extend to spiders? Because it looks like they actually did kill a shit ton of spiders on that shoot. I'm just saying. They ran over a bunch of them. A bunch of them got squished by people's... And that honestly kind of upset me. Because I don't, I know I'm weird, but I like spiders. And I really didn't want to see them, like, hurt. And so I'm watching the movie going, God damn, that looks like they really killed an actual spider. Like, and just, like, squished it.
Probably did.
And I thought that they wouldn't allow that. But maybe in the... When did, like, the Humane Society started doing, like, overseeing movies?
Tina's
when was
looking
that?
up Kingdom of the Spiders. Only see the riff tracks of Kingdom of the Spiders.
Amazon Prime just added it.
Yeah.
And I was delighted because I was like, oh my god, Kingdom of the Spiders. That was like one of those like killer animal movies that I loved in the 70s.
Yeah.
That Food of the Gods about the rats, Orca, all that. I love those kind. I love that shit.
And you just watch them riff on it. You know what I mean? Because it's better when they're riffing on it.
It is much more entertaining, I have to say.
Trying to come up with another big studio movie that I thought was a masterpiece. Pain and Gain, which is based on a real fucking crime thing here in Florida. That was a masterpiece.
What about Dune?
Dune? The new Dune?
Yeah.
It was good. I don't know if it was a masterpiece. I got to see the second one. Not finished yet.
What about
the new Blade Runner?
I was going to say
that
Blade Runner.
That was that.
Man,
yeah,
I love
Blade
that.
Runner 2.
I love that.
And that's right, I called that shit too because I can't remember all the numbers.
2049.
Yeah. See, she had to fucking pick up the pieces and me fucking. I'm gonna say, okay, look. Then
I'm not being an asshole. I'm just saying I
best,
want everything to be correct.
but I can name so many other masterpieces that didn't come out of the Hollywood studio system. All right. Fucking.
Oh, Empire of the Ants. That was a good one too.
Vivarium was a fucking masterpiece.
God, I loved Vivarium.
I love Vivarium. Very original.
That's one of those movies that I actually... That one kind of like shot to the top. That's one that I don't mind watching like over
watch that
and
over and over again. That is
which is crazy. I don't usually
do that. It's an Irish
do
movie. Very
the
well
director's
written.
Irish.
Okay,
yeah.
I thought it was made in Ireland. It's not.
No, I said it's made in Ireland, and I said the director's Irish. Like most of the actors in it are American.
They're American, but it's just I'm gonna call it an Irish movie. All right, it was, and it's a very well thought out, weird movie that holds up on multiple viewings. It gets better with multiple viewings.
Well, yeah, you pick up so much more.
You're right.
I just loved the whole vibe of that.
Yeah. It's a lot like in some ways, kind of like Predator. You're coming in contact with an alien creature, but this is far more insidious. And it's not just physical, it's extra-dimensional. And it's fucking your mind up, and it's making you raise its child. And it's just a fucking great...
Like a cuckoo bird.
Yeah, it's just a great fucking premise. And then another fucking masterpiece, same actors, Art of Self-Defense.
Well, you knew he was going to bring that up.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up.
Kanavatsan says Dark City, dude. I keep telling him.
Yeah.
You would love Dark City. You
right.
really need to see Dark City. It's really, really good. That's like right in your wheelhouse. I say that,
check it
but
out.
it's like kind of like...
I gotta check it out.
Victor says Train to Busan. I mean...
that's Korean.
Train to Busan is honestly... And we've talked about this before, and I just reviewed The Host the other day. Korean movies kick ass.
Yeah,
at least the ones that we get over here.
They're good, yeah. The ones that catch our attention. They were good at zombie movies for a while. The sequel to Train to Busan was okay.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It didn't quite capture.
It wasn't great.
Didn't quite capture the first.
It was
one.
okay though. It was okay.
It's okay.
Korean zombie series Kingdom was good. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was pretty.
Yeah,
good.
we watched that.
It's
Yeah,
good.
I liked that a lot.
Trying to think of another recent masterpieces.
I see good shit all the time. There's a lot of good. Like I said, I watch horror shit mostly,
Yeah.
but honestly, yesterday, and I have a review of it coming out on the 7th.
Yeah.
It was an Irish horror comedy called Extraordinary, and it is so good. It is so charming and delightful and hilarious, and everybody needs to watch it. It's on Shudder. Watch it.
Pain and Gain is a Michael Bay flick, who does the Transformers and the big dumb
He's
movies.
known for like big dumb
Big
explosion
dumb movies.
movies. Yeah.
See Pain and Gain. That's a masterpiece movie.
Zach says Hereditary. Yeah, I will agree with that. I fucking
she
love
likes it.
Hereditary. I love Hereditary.
I prefer Midsummer.
Midsummer is awesome also.
Yeah.
Both of those movies are awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and Hugo said Parasite is good. Yeah, Parasite was amazing. We actually saw
Which
that
one was
theater.
that?
Parasite. The
Which one was
Korean
that?
film? About the family
yeah,
that
yeah,
like took
yeah,
over.
yeah.
Well, like
That's pretty good.
the guy that it was Bong
Yeah.
Joon-ho. He's the same
Yeah.
guy that directed Parasite. Also directed The Host.
Right.
And he also did Memories of Murder, which I'm going to be reviewing.
So you saw the host
this
without
month.
you saw the host without me. I didn't see it.
I reviewed it.
I know you reviewed it and I didn't see it.
I've seen it a bunch of times.
Okay.
Honestly, I've seen it a bunch of times. You would probably like it. It's
Yeah.
a monster movie, but it's not kaiju. He's not like super big.
Right.
He's like about truck size.
Yeah.
But and I think I said this on my host review, but I was kind of like, the Korean filmmakers, at least the films that we get over here, they seem to have a knack for combining genres in a way that feels like they're not combining genres. Does that make any sense? It just feels very like organic. They're just like, yeah, it's a horror movie, it's a rom-com. We're just like, we're putting all this shit in there, and it doesn't really feel weird or like unbalanced or anything. It just feels like.
T's talking about Lighthouse. Yeah, Lighthouse was good.
God, I love the Lighthouse.
We saw that in the theater.
We did, yeah.
And we were there in a packed theater too, and people were tripped out. They're like,
what the fuck?
Especially Ed, when he goes, he looks into the lighthouse, fucking like,
What the fuck did I just watch?
I'm like, what the fuck?
I was into it.
They were fighting over jacking off and everything.
I was into
That was
it.
fucking weird.
That's like almost exactly the
Yeah.
kind of movie
Drinking
that
the lighthouse, fucking fueled. and
I
fucking
love
get
that
drunk.
kind of
Yeah.
shit. I love that kind of shit. Well, like I
You
said,
didn't know where fantasy and reality left off. Just two crazy motherfuckers out on the damn lighthouse, fucking out there, fucking on an island, fucking man in a lighthouse.
I mean, like I said, I love weird ass movies. If you kind of come up with some like crazy fucking premise and just like commit to
Pookie.
that, son,
No.
commit to it.
No.
Oscar says, I loved the Wide Carnivorous Sky review. Thank you very much. That was a really good book. So I guess it was you that recommended it. But yeah, that was excellent. It was a short story review. So yeah, I put that up. I'm trying to think of like what the next... Oh, my next one that's going up is another book by Adam Neville, who wrote No One Gets Out Alive. So I'm putting that one up.
Okay, I wanted to mention another one. This is one of my fucking favorite movies of all times by one of my favorite directors and screenwriters and fucking just commentators of all times, John Milius. I've been picking apart over the fucking decades Conan to understand everything in the mythology behind Conan because Milius is smart as fuck. Everything in Conan meant something. And I was always trying to figure out the scene where Valeria dies. Conan pulls off his necklace, which had the Wheel of Suffering on it, and he throws it away. And he puts on her necklace, which was the Eye of the Serpent, which I had already figured out it was a fertility symbol. They're talking about Asherah, which, you know, Milius has a Jewish background, and so he knows well the Garden of Eden story, and Asherah, who was the serpent, who was originally El Shaddai's wife, who got demoted later on into a serpent. So I knew it was a fertility symbol. And then as it goes, I'm just like, well, okay, so why? Okay, she died and he wears the fertility symbol. Where's the moral to this lesson? There was a deleted scene. And it's there. You can find it on YouTube. He talks to Subutai about spring. And when he was a kid. And he goes, I remember my father used to take me out and the spring wind would blow and the smell of the spring. And he goes, 20 years I've been fighting and killing for nothing. And he goes, it's not too late for us, Subutai. And I was going, there it was. It was all the fertility references. And that's where it was when Conan fucking goes outside and goes beyond the struggle for survival from the masculine perspective, and he embraces the sacred feminine. He now understands introspection and realizes that the secret to life is to outlive your own life, reproduction, which is only from women.
Creation instead of destruction.
Exactly, that only can come from women. And he learned that from seeing Valeria's sacrifice, you know.
Yeah.
And he goes, and then he tells Subutai, it's not too late for us. We can have children and live forever. That was the lesson. But then Subutai says, nah, I'm drawn to this life.
Nah, I'm just gonna keep on killing motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You have fun though.
Because I'm drawn to this life, and I'll always be in a position like this. And if you aren't here, chances are it'll be with somebody worse than you. And fucking Conan laughs. He's like, yeah, maybe. But that was the lesson. So I was wondering where it was, because I never sell Milius short. I'm like, Milius, where's the lesson? Because every other fucking story
well, he's
element,
very well versed in mythology.
he understood. Yeah, exactly. He's been fucking hanging out with Campbell.
A lot of storytellers are like people that write novels and stuff like that.
Right.
It's like, you know, a lot of them are usually like interested in other
Right.
people's stories and mythology and things like that. So
They should have never cut that scene. Just go on YouTube and go Conan deleted scene.
well, and it wasn't even long. It was only like a couple of minutes.
And I think the reason why they cut it is because Arnold's pronunciation wasn't all that good. It's like, you motherfuckers.
I didn't notice.
Yeah, well, his accent. You know how they were back in the fucking early 80s.
They're like, you're not like
you're English. You don't sound like you're from California.
Right.
Yeah.
You sound like an Austrian. Knock that
Right.
shit off.
Which that's what made Arnie great in Conan.
Well, that's what made him stand out. Like,
Right.
other than like the being a big muscle bound and everything.
Right.
But it's like, yeah, him being Austrian.
Yeah.
was like a whole other.
He's gonna sound like he's from fucking Encino. That he's from fucking San Francisco. No, he's from some faraway place in fucking
just talk
Hibernia.
like you talk, man.
Yeah, yeah.
Just talk like you talk.
Right.
You know.
Right. T loves fucking Arnie back in that era of Arniness. She said she was just dripping.
Artiness.
That Arnie, that he was dripping. Fucking Arnie looked good in Conan 1. He looked good in Conan 2. But I have to say, when he lost about 30 pounds of muscle, and he was in Predator 1, I think that's when he looked the best. When he actually lost, he looked great then too. He was 42, I think, at that point. 41, 42.
Tila said that she just also watched Enter the Dragon for the first time yesterday. And then Bruce Lee with little hearts in the eyes.
Yeah, I've never seen any of his movies.
You've never seen Enter the Dragon?
I've only seen the one where he
Have
goes
I yelled at you about this before?
I've only seen the one where he goes up the damn tower and fights.
That's Game of Death.
Game of Death.
And that was the one that they made like after he died, so they only had like so much footage.
Yeah.
Enter the Dragon, that's like, I kind of feel like you have to see that. It's like illegal not to see it.
I've never seen it.
I feel like you need to see
I've seen more Bruce-sploitation Bruce Lee movies, like Bruce Lie.
Yeah.
L-I, I've seen that one. Bruce Lee with 3 E's.
Yeah. Or just one E.
Or just one E.
There was also one with just one E.
Yeah, I've seen...
It's a whole subgenre. If you didn't know.
The one where he goes to fucking the afterworld down in hell. Remember that one? That was a good one too. And even fights. He fights everybody. He fights Dracula.
What
he
is
fights
that?
Frankenstein.
And no, Frankenstein's in it, but there are mummies.
There's mummies in it. Yeah.
And he fights Clint Eastwood.
Fights Clint Eastwood.
Elvis.
Yeah, I think so. I think he does. Yeah. What was the name of that one?
Shit. What was the name of that movie?
And then you find the third leg of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That movie was fucking crazy. What was the name of that fucking shit? We watched that a few years ago, and I was just kind of like, I think this might be the most awesome film ever made.
Yeah.
It's a Bruce-sploitation film. but I can't. It has like a pretty. It doesn't have like a cool title or anything like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Bruce Lee.
She's asking what that movie's called.
I'm trying to remember. God damn it! What was the name of it? I remember like posting about it at the time that we watched it because it's a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And I was just and I was like writing about it as we were watching it, and I was just kind of like, okay, so Bruce Lee dies and he goes to the afterlife, but it's a different dude because obviously Bruce Lee was dead. So he had some kind of excuse for why he looked like a different dude now.
Yeah.
In the afterworld. And then he met a dude that was supposed to be Clint Eastwood in what? Pale Rider? He had the poncho.
Yeah.
So, but they didn't call him that, but you know what I mean? So he was that, and then I kind of feel like, was it Elvis? Who was in it? But like he met like all these famous people. Popeye? I think Popeye might have been in there too. And I'm not kidding. I think Popeye might have been in there. And he fights Dracula, and then there's like an army of mummies at some point. Like I think that's toward the end. It's one of the craziest. It's super entertaining though, but it's one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Because and I was just like, we were watching it, and it's like every new revelation, I was just like, oh, and now there's mummies. Okay, all right, I'm just rolling with it. At that point, I was just kind of like, just whatever you're gonna throw at me, mommy. But I was just kind of like, I don't know. I don't even remember what that movie's called.
Zach is kind of asking me indirectly if I thought No Time to Die was a masterpiece. I would say, was No Time to Die a masterpiece? It was a masterpiece in a certain way. They had to write the story around certain things and still be able to get the message that they wanted to get out. You see what that message is. I see exactly what they're talking about. They had to get that message out and still avoid any trouble in politics. And then they also wanted to homage the old series. Pookie. Boy, she's making a lot of noise.
That's just, she got her little...
Oh, she's got the little roll.
She's got her little treat. It's a little cat that, like, it's like a really, like a Weeble or something.
Some people
that
really
has treats in it.
Some people really talk shit about No Time to Die, and I just don't agree.
I liked it a lot.
I liked it.
I think they did a nice job of like wrapping up the Daniel Craig era.
Some people are like, "Oh, he died, and Felix died, and everybody died, and this." What do you expect? They have to die. This is
deal with it.
This is movie 5.
Sure.
It's been going on for a long time. This cast has to stop. You can't have a situation where you got a fucking 65-year-old James Bond.
Well, and everybody knew that he wasn't going to do any more James Bond movies.
Right.
So it's kind of like, I kind of feel like everybody should have seen that coming.
Right.
They're going to wrap up that era.
Right.
Which, like I said, that's fair enough.
So you have to give Bond and Felix an honorable end.
Yeah, like a big send-off.
Right. And I wish Felix was in all the movies. That particular actor, I don't remember his name anymore, but I think he did a great Felix. And there's a lot.
I liked him as Felix.
There's been several Felixes over the span of James Bond. One of the Felixes was black, and that was actually the most physically impressive ones. The other Felixes were comedic relief or kind of forgettable. One of the more recent Felixes was just kind of like an American dude who was just like James Bond, so that really didn't work either. The Daniel Craig Felix, I thought, was the best handling of the character. And they got the casting was perfect. That was the actor you needed.
They did a really good. I mean, they did a good job, like establishing an emotional connection between the two of them.
Between those two dudes.
So, like when Felix died,
it
was really upsetting. Like I was upset.
Well, somebody called him brother. Well, a bad guy called him brother, and he says, "I had a brother once. His name was Felix." And fucking then he killed that guy because that guy killed Felix, betrayed him. Which that was great because through the whole series, Bond had no male friends. He was very much a.
I mean, he had I guess
Omega type man.
Well, because of his line of work,
Sigma type man.
He really had to kind of like keep his friendships to a minimum.
Yeah, the only guy like him was Felix, and I thought that was a great crypto bromance, which they show some of that in the end with the fucking coin games and the bartering, and Bond joins fucking CIA temporarily because MI6 fucked him over. It was a great. Now you make me want to watch that one again.
Yeah, we saw it in the theater, but I haven't seen it again since then.
I own it.
Oh, that's right, you bought it.
I own it. Yeah. So
I liked it a lot. I did.
But that was the great handling. And when he died, Felix kind of laughed it off. He goes, "Well, I guess he wasn't on our side." You know, he had real good lines. You know.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job with that character.
And you see, this actor, he's not famous. Yeah, he was in Shaft. He was in the first Shaft that had. Oh shit, man! My fucking head injuries. What was the last Shaft that we had? Fucking. That last Shaft fucking was great. I
think it was
Samuel
just called
Jackson
Shaft. Yeah.
The first Samuel L. Jackson Shaft. That guy's in it.
That's right. He was in that.
He was in that.
I totally forgot.
Right.
About
So
that. We saw that in the theater too.
He had a spy movie heritage, which allowed him to be cast as Felix. That way, he's not just some dude that they pulled out. He was in Shaft. So yeah, that was the casting was great. And fucking Casino Royale, he kicked ass. Fucking, he wasn't in Quantum of Solace, but he was in. I think he was in Skyfall briefly.
I'd have to watch all of them again.
Yeah. I mean, keep coming back.
Yeah, he did turn up in like most of them. I don't. He might not have been in Quantum of Solace. And it's interesting because Quantum of Solace, the first time I saw it, I really did not like it. It was my least favorite. I mean, it's still my least favorite, but
multiple viewings build that one up.
But I liked it better the second time I watched it. But like I said, a lot of movies. I mean, if they don't make you want to fucking throw up the first time you see them, then if you watch them the second time, a lot of times you get a greater appreciation. I tend to like movies better the second time I watch them.
Quantum of Solace was a little bit more like one of the older James Bond movies.
True.
Okay.
True.
I will give it that. So it's kind of slightly an homage. But the director did some really slick things with alchemy and references to the paranormal in that movie. A lot of people don't catch it. When he gets down to South America, he's trying to stop an NGO from stealing the nation's fucking water supply through malfeasance. And what they're talking about there are these NGOs that do this, and American-based NGOs that do this to South America. They've been doing it for a long time. Been researching it. It goes all the way back to the 1800s with the Banana Wars. Okay, my Mexican friends in there will tell you, we were launching war. Colonel Butler, a Marine guard, General Butler, wrote a whole book about it called War as a Racket back in the fucking late 1800s about the fucking South and Central American governments that he collapsed over banana prices. We were a ruthless country back then. Anyway, an NGO is trying to steal the fucking country's water supply so they can fuel Spectre. But you don't know who Spectre is at this point. It's like a one world government that's forming, but it's really just criminals trying to steal, and they're camouflaged as good guys, but that's not who they are. It'll all look very familiar. It looks like the WEF. All right. So anyway, he jumps into a cab at a random spot, and the cab driver says, "I dreamt my dead mother fucking spoke to me, and she said that the water was all going to dry up." And he says it in Spanish, not in English. He says it in Spanish. You have to understand some Spanish to understand, which that's weird. The movie said you can have visitations from the fucking dead and warning you about fucking impending doom in your dreams. I fucking really liked that part because I had weird shit like that happen to me. And then later on, he's in the fucking bad guy's base, which is a fucking base in the middle of nowhere using hydrogen. It's on top of a fucking water deposit, and they're using it for fuel and oil. So there's this water and fire motif happening. Impossibility. Two opposites happening. So it's kind of like alchemical symbolism happening in this big fucking shootout in the middle of the desert. And it's like something out of damn Mars, is what it looks like. Just see the movie. You'll like it. You'll like it. If you understand the symbolism, it's kind of a yin-yang symbol. And in the end, Bond gets the bad guy who tried to steal the water and lets him go to the desert. And he goes, "Man, fucking," and he goes, "Here, drink this." And he fucking throws him an oil can. And they find him later on dead out.
That was my favorite part, actually.
Yeah. It's like, fuck your high-tech
this,
boy.
bitch.
Drink this, bitch. You steal the water, drink oil. And they find his ass dead out in the fucking, dying of thirst out in the fucking desert with a fucking empty oil can in his hand and a fucking belly full of fucking black oil.
He did drink it.
He drank the oil.
He's like, I was kidding. Don't really drink that.
He drank it.
Tila says, oh, Jenny, I got those mint toys for my boys, her kitties.
Yeah, those work.
And they love them.
Yes, I told you.
Immediately start picking them up and placing them throughout the house. They don't want to share.
Yeah.
You guys.
Minties. Minties.
I get them from Chewy. They're like $2 each.
Yeah.
They're these little, like, sticks. They're squishy. They're soft. They're fabric. And then they have, like, little mint leaf things at the ends.
Yeah.
And they have mint in them. For whatever reason, the cats fucking love them. I don't know, like, I'm sure every cat doesn't love them. But our 2 cats are super into them. So I buy new ones, like, every few weeks or so. Because, you know, they play with them so much that they get all, like, gross. But they pick them up in one hand. Like, Pookie picks them up in one hand and, like, they just rub it on their faces. Oh, my God. This is the best thing ever. Best thing ever. And I still have a new one over there. It's still attached to the card. And Pookie will jump up on my desk and, like, try to get that. So, you know what I mean?
Yes, you're right, Straw Dogs. His brother from Langley. Yes, that's a good term. Callan Higgins says, No Time to Die felt definitive bond in terms of cinematography and production design. Like it could have been made in the 60s or 70s. Yeah, and I believe they were homaging. They did a lot of homaging.
And honestly, I think they did a really good job because they had a lot of things to, like, tie up. Yeah. A lot of loose ends to tie up. And I think they did a really good job homaging stuff without being, like, overtly cute about it.
Yeah.
Like, look, we're, you know, hearkening back to whatever. And it was a good movie, like, that worked on its own. I think they did a really good job with that one.
Yeah.
I really do.
Okay, now I need you guys to do me a favor. Tila's looking for the movie that has fucking
Look that up. Look it up.
The fake Bruce Lee in the underworld. Bruceploitation. The third leg of
fighting
Bruce Lee.
mummies or something.
He fights Dracula. I think it's called.
Wait, is Jesse James in it?
I think he fights Jesse James.
Does he fight Jesse James? He fights the Popeye's in there too, right?
He fights Popeye.
He fights Popeye.
And the comedic relief is a Chinese Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. Yeah, they're in it too. They're in it too. We sound like we're making this up. I guarantee you we're not. This is a real movie.
Bruce Lee is dead.
It's a real movie.
So he goes to the Chinese underworld and continues to fight all the badasses who are dead.
Except it's a different dude. But they have an explanation.
They have an explanation why he looks different.
It's
you look different. Yeah, it's fucking hilarious. And actually, the writing is real good.
It's super entertaining.
It's real good, yeah.
Like I said, we sound like we're making it up. Saying that... Oh, the Godfather's in it too.
He fights the Godfather.
That's right. I forgot.
Yeah,
the Godfather's
in it. And they don't have enough Caucasian...
I'm not making this up.
He fights the Godfather. And they don't have enough Caucasian actors to go around, so some of these roles are played by Chinese or Taiwanese. Chinese. It's a great movie. It's hilarious.
It's super fun.
It's fucking hilarious. They know it's funny.
The mummies were my favorite part.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, now there's mummies.
Yeah.
Like there's a bunch of mummies.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like there's no consideration.
Nobody's coming back with it.
Look it up.
I'm gonna look what it is.
It doesn't have like a real memorable title. That's why I
all
always
are about
forget
the same.
That's why I always forget it. But I remember us watching that a bit, and I was like, this might be the greatest movie ever made. Just because when I tell people about it, they think I'm making it up, and I assure you I'm not making it up. I'm not making it up. This is a real movie. It's a real movie. But yeah, it's super fun. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, I kind of feel like he fought... Laurel and Hardy was in it. Clint Eastwood was in it. I can't remember. It was Elvis or somebody like that. And then...
It's called The Dragon Lives Again.
There it is. There you go.
The Dragon Lives Again.
Yeah, there you go. You sure that's the right one?
I believe so, because I just looked at the third leg of Bruce Lee. It goes.
Although that might have been in more than one movie. Okay.
And it's called The Dragon.
Does he fights mummies?
That's it. He's fighting the dragon. He's fighting Dracula. It's called The Dragon Lives Again.
Okay, there you go. Dragon Lives Again.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's not like a super memorable title. Seriously, watch it.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
You will not believe.
Yeah, okay.
Every single...
Holy Parish found it. The Dragon Lives Again, 1977.
Every single thing that happens, we were watching this one night, like a couple years ago.
It kept topping itself.
And I was just like, oh, we're doing this? Okay. All right.
It kept topping itself. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, what?
I see what you're doing.
It took me a while.
I'm into it.
It took me a while to understand the premise because I was taking it seriously.
Oh, see, don't ever do that.
And I didn't. And see,
don't do that.
They
just let it unfold.
They had the emperor, the celestial emperor there, and I didn't know what they were talking about. The celestial emperor is like a Chinese emperor with a hat with a bunch of beads hanging in front of his face.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
And they're talking about the first emperor of China, and he would be in the afterworld, and he's basically the devil in the afterworld, crossing the devil and God, and he meets Bruce when he comes into the afterworld in a bar, in the afterworld. That's
right.
And he puts him on a mission. But you don't really understand it if you don't understand Chinese culture.
I mean, you don't have to, though.
But you understand it. If somebody had told me that he was in the afterlife, and this is Chinese hell, or the Chinese underworld, it's kind of like the Chinese underworld, then maybe it took me a while to understand it. Oh, okay, he's fighting dead people.
Well, the thing about it, though, is that he's fighting dead people, but a lot of them are fictional characters. And there doesn't really seem to be any distinction made between actual dead people and fictional characters. So there's that. But I think that's kind of what makes it fun. I mean, my favorite part was him fighting all the mummies. Because I wasn't expecting mummies. You don't expect mummies in a Bruce, because there's more than one. And there's like one scene, he's like out in a fucking, it's like a kind of beach with like rocks kind of situation. And then like all these fucking, the mummies are obviously like dudes that are like covered with like fucking toilet paper or whatever. And then he just like starts doing kung fu on the mummies. And I said to Tom, I turned to him and I was like, we were kind of drunk at the time, and I was just kind of like, oh, so now there's mummies. So this is happening. All right. I'm rolling with it. Is the film called Deadly Hands of Kung Fu? No, it's not that. Yeah, somebody said earlier, The Dragon Lives Again. That's what it's called. The Dragon Lives Again. Like I said, I remembered all the details of it, but I remember that the title of it wasn't all that memorable. That's why I always forget. Because there's a whole subgenre, in case you didn't know, of Bruceploitation movies. Bruce Lee only made 3 whole movies and 1 kind of half a movie because he died, And so they made Game of Death, which kind of had like half footage of him and half other shit. So because he was so popular around the world, there was a whole subgenre of Bruce Lee knockoff movies. So you have like all these people like pretending to be him. And like you said, you have Bruce Lee L.I., Bruce Lee with 1 E, Bruce Lee with 3 E's. Like there was all kind of like, there was probably like Bruce BROOCE, I don't know. But there was like a lot of like knockoff movies. So it was a whole fucking subgenre, which is crazy. And I haven't seen like a lot of them, but that's kind of like the most notorious one. But as far as I know, the most entertaining. In case you didn't know too, I thought I'd bring this. This is kind of like tangential, but it's still kind of like related. So if you guys didn't know, there is also a really active subgenre in Turkey of doing rip-offs of American movies. So there is a Turkish Star Wars, there's a Turkish Batman, there's a Turkish Spider-Man, like any big franchise you can think of it like in American films. The Turks have made like a knockoff of it, and it's usually like super, super low budget. And let's just say a lot of the nuances are lost in translation, because with the Turkish Spider-Man, I want to say the Turkish Spider-Man has... Wait, is it Turkish Spider-Man or Turkish Batman? I think it's Turkish Batman that has Batman and Robin going to a strip club and like being bad guys and killing people, right? Yeah. Oh, he's got his cocksucker hat on.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, and his eye patch.
And eye patch.
I didn't even realize.
Well, I got Tila in the audience, and I know that it affects that woman. So the thing is about the Turks is they're not really sure. They have a hard time understanding the line between good guy and bad guy. You see Spider-Man, well, he must be a bad guy. Look at him, he's a spider.
Look at that outfit.
He's the Batman. Yeah, he's got to be a bad guy. Look at him. You know. That's what
No Need for Me Too says Brandon Tenold covers that stuff extensively. Yeah, we love Brandon Tenold.
Yeah, he's good.
And he covers, he's awesome. He's a Canadian YouTuber. Yeah. And he covers a lot of Turkish knockoff shit. He's super into Godzilla movies too, so he did a lot of kaiju movies. But he does a lot of Turkish knockoffs too, and it's like super funny. And he's a big fan of Mystery Science Theater. So he does a similar thing where he kind of like shows clips from the movie and kind of riffs on them, and it's like super funny.
Now, Hugo earlier on was saying that I use the term masterpiece quite loosely.
You do kind of.
I'm going to say fuck off.
You do kind of.
Here's the thing: there can be several masterpieces a year. A lot of it has to do with the genre. Okay. Pain and Gain is a masterpiece because it's in the true crime genre. See? That's one of the best true crime genres. It's Michael Bay, and it's shit's fucking funny, and it's a Florida movie. And I'm gonna say that's my interpretation of it, is that's a masterpiece of true crime entertainment.
I liked that movie because even though I will say, even though it's based on a real thing that happened, which actual real people got killed, and that's like fucked up. And I understand they made like a dark comedy about it, but they changed enough of the details to, and a lot of the people that were involved were kind of like criminals anyway.
Yeah.
So it kind of like, it was okay. But it had that real kind of like really like pitch black humor that I really, really enjoyed.
And I think Fighting with My Family was a masterpiece of its genre, which was a true story about wrestlers. It was a masterpiece.
Which you could kind of say like, what genre was that? It was like a sports drama, dramedy, as they call it.
Sports drama.
I kind of hate that word, but
sports dramedy, biopic kind of comedy. And it was like, if you're into that kind of shit, then you would love it. If you're into Paige and female wrestlers, you'd love it. It's a good story. And The Rock makes a fucking cameo. And it's partly happening in England, and part of it is in Orlando, Florida. And it's kind of true to life, to both cultures. And it's just fun movie. Fun movie. I mean, not everything has to be Citizen Kane to be a masterpiece.
True. Well, that's what I mean. I kind of feel like that's why it's so hard for me to like think of, oh, what are the best movies ever? What are your favorite movies ever? I'm like, well, what genre are we talking about? I mean...
Right.
I could easily pick my favorite horror movies, but my favorite horror movies are very different than my favorite comedies or my favorite drama movies. I kind of feel like we need to judge things by the standards of their own genre.
Right. And then like
across...
It's, it's objective. Or, it's subjective. It's subjective. I think Daniel Craig, James Bond series is a masterpiece series of spy-based commentary. Spy movies with modern commentary over things that are relative to today, told within a style that makes things real exciting. You know what I mean? The introduction of Spectre and what it is and who it is that they're talking about. A lot of it has to do with corporate stuff and NWO type stuff. And but Bond was always that. Always that. Zorn and shit was corporate oligarchs doing bad things.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like that's been part of the series since it was written.
Right. But here's the thing.
Because it's not new.
It's not new. Ian Fleming, who was a member of OSS, who was prototype CIA, knew who Bilderbergers were, and he talked about them, and he said they were dangerous. But it's true. Oligarchs are always dangerous. They have their own things that they want to do. They have money. They can bribe people. They can do whatever they want. They can make up their own technologies. They can acquire power.
And like I said, that's been true for like...
It's been true forever.
Forever.
Power corrupts people. And instead of using armies of soldiers, they use armies of lawyers. And that's always been fucking true. And Ian Fleming said, we got to keep an eye on that. It's like runaway corporatism and capitalism and runaway oligarchy. And yeah, that's a reality. So what I'm getting at is that you can say, well, that's all conspiracy theory. Man, everything is a conspiracy. The Civil War was a conspiracy of plantation owners to break away from the fucking North because they had to protect their own wealth. And people tend to protect their own wealth and their own interests, and they have to have the money to buy the power they do it. And it doesn't even matter if the poor people in the South were being fucked over by plantations. They didn't care. It was plantation owners. They had the money and the power. And that's really kind of the same thing James Bond is about, money and power. So if you look at the Daniel Craig series, some people say, well, they didn't do this, no, they didn't do that, or oh, it's too much this and that, that's all feminine. The general truth of the story that goes back to even what fucking Ian Fleming was talking about, it stands. That's what Ian Fleming was talking about, and there's all kinds of things to learn from that series. I think it's a masterpiece series, especially with the limitations of today. There's ratings. They want things to be PG.
Although I would argue, I know a lot of people like whine about this nowadays.
Yeah.
But I would argue that you can get away with a lot more movies than you could back in the day. I mean, it depends on what you're talking about, though. If you're talking about like big Hollywood movies, people pissed and moaned about shit that nobody would talk about nowadays. Back in the 70s and 80s. Oh, we have to give this an R rating, or we have to give this PG. Well, PG-13 didn't come in until the mid-80s. But, you know, look at fucking Gremlins, for Christ's sake. Gremlins, there was like a big deal about that. They had to do like a whole new rating system for that because it's like, oh, it's too gory, it's like for kids or whatever. But it's like nowadays, if Gremlins came out now, that would probably just be like PG.
Yeah. To
be honest with you. Even though it's pretty gory. But back then, it was like a huge controversy.
Yeah.
I don't know. And like I said, people piss and moan, but like I've seen some shit nowadays. Like, okay, what was that movie we saw a year or two ago? Good Boys.
Yeah.
Which was a comedy. And it was about a bunch of children doing really fucked up shit.
Yeah, that was a good movie, though.
Like, I know, it was hilarious.
But you know what's funny is that I saw a lot of commentary about that, and they were like, there's hope for the future. People were saying like that because in a lot of ways, that was like something you saw in the 80s and the 90s. That'd be like,
well, yeah,
really
so people are still movies. So the fact that people wanted, oh, nobody would make that nowadays. I'm like, have you seen Good Boys?
Yeah, Good Boys was fucking good.
Because
funny as fuck.
It was about a bunch of little children, little kids, doing really fucked up adult shit, all sexual shit, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And it was hysterical.
People ask me is weed legal in Florida?
Is it? I think medically it might be.
Yeah,
but I'm not sure about like.
If you gotta ask if
board.
something's legal, don't come here. If you gotta ask if something's legal, don't come here.
I mean, everyone just kind of does it.
People just do whatever they want to do here. Even back in the 80s, they just would lay cocaine out and fucking snort it in the club. Okay? No, just because it's legal, I mean, it doesn't mean anything. Just don't get in trouble. Don't cause trouble. Don't shoot people. Don't steal. Make friends with people. Get into a fucking clique. All right? Don't be an asshole, and you would love Florida. People get along here pretty much. Good state.
Well, I mean,
pretty much.
Depends.
Even at the damn biker bar, 1/3 of those people are not from here. Real heavy northeastern accents.
Well,
They're
like
New
I said,
Yorkers
Florida is, we're kind of like a,
right.
It's kind of like the South, but not really because it's people from everywhere. Because everybody moves here because of the weather.
I'm going to say it's the South.
It is, but
it's the South. It's the South.
And tempered by
It's the South and the people that are moving to the South and becoming part of the scene. It's going to be different wherever you are. People coming from the North going into a goth club are conforming to people that are in that goth club. People that have moved from the North moving into a biker bar out here are conforming in a way or fitting in to Southerners in that damn biker bar. It's just, they're not imposing on us. They are fitting in with us. I know Southern culture. I know the accents. I know from all across this country. 1/3 of those dudes in that fucking biker bar that I fucking go to during the day are what we would call Yankees. But they're not causing trouble, and they understand Southern culture, and they're fitting in and buying motorcycles and listening to music, and they're not throwing their weight around, and there's a pecking order in that particular bar. All right, it's not so much that in, say, a more urban goth club setting. Not the same at all. In the goth scene, the Southern angle doesn't really come into play. In a biker scene, it does.
Yeah, in goth club, nobody cares about
in the
that.
In the goth scene, they
because
don't care.
it's not anything to do with the...
You got foreigners coming in there like, yeah, you're from France or whatever. It's a much bigger
it's much
scene.
different. Well, and the thing about it is like if like goth culture is more like if you're into that same kind of shit, it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter where you're from. Right.
It doesn't matter where you're from. You don't need to like flex about like you're from here or there or the other place. If you like some cool shit and you look cool, then everyone's just kind of like, all right.
Right.
Then you'll be fine with it.
Right. So it's a very different scene than, say, the biker scene.
Yeah.
Especially around here. The biker scene, they're listening to country music and fucking shit that I don't even really like. I gotta fucking play shit on the jukebox and do the jukebox through the fucking through the fucking tablets. They got a good jukebox there. But I play a lot of Motorhead, which they can't really fuck with that because that's British biker music. And then I'll put in some fucking metal, 80s metal. I'll put in fucking old Judas Priest and stuff. They're tending towards country, but that's really more their age bracket, not so much their class segment, if you know what I'm talking about. Guys my age grew up in Mississippi, didn't listen to country music, listened to metal. Okay?
Well, I have
it was
to
the
say,
older dudes listening to country.
As somebody that grew up in Daytona Beach, aka the Redneck Riviera.
Yeah.
Redneckery was very much the order of the day.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like the mainstream culture where I grew up.
Right.
So I don't have a lot of patience for it because I grew up with it and I'm just like, fuck this shit. That was what I was trying to get away from.
It gets old.
Well, the thing about, and I'm not judging, like people like what they like, okay? But it's like, to me, it seems very narrow band.
Yeah.
The reason that I got into goth and new wave and post-punk and stuff is that it seemed very freewheeling.
Right.
People are just kind of like, wait, you like this and that? Okay, that's cool. Like, nobody was, like, judging you, necessarily.
Yeah, but age had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
The biker women my age, if I'm playing, they go, play The Cure. And I'll put fucking Boys Don't Cry. They fucking love it. They know they know a lot of the shit that...
Well, see, the chicks are, like, more open-minded.
Right.
This is like, I found this is not, universally true.
Right.
But I found this to be true to an extent.
Right.
Dudes, in general, tend to be a little more narrow-minded.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to come across as like, oh, does this make me seem gay? Or
or something.
They have that thing. Women don't have that.
No.
They just like what they like.
Right.
And they don't really make that much of a to-do about it.
Right.
So I've always found that, like, dudes and their tastes, at least what they would admit to liking, were a lot more narrow-minded.
Yeah. Now, earlier on in the show, if you weren't here, I played a video that I made with Meg at the biker bar. Meg's 35, and she came up here from Clearwater. Her boyfriend is a local Harley builder. And I made a video. I'll play it again if you guys didn't see it. But Meg was 35, and she's in there playing Flyleaf and fucking like 90s and 2000s new metal. That's what she's listening to. So it's not social class or scene. It's age bracket has more to do with it. Okay. In the bike scene.
Mary says, I love Daytona Beach. It does actually have some nice things about it. The beach is beautiful. If you want to go to a beach that is actually really... Although I will admit that the ones on the west coast of Florida are nicer. But Daytona Beach, if you want to drive on the beach, if you want to, like, drive your car on the beach and, like, have a picnic and stuff like that, then Daytona is going to be, like, the place to go. Right. No Need for Me Too also says... Morrissey is big with the Latinos. Yeah. For whatever reason,
Well, drama.
Yeah.
Drama.
They fucking love Morrissey down there.
Yeah.
Mexico, South America, Central America, they fucking love Morrissey.
Yeah, you go,
There's a bunch of Mexican Smiths and Morrissey cover bands.
That do it.
Mexrissey being... Is it Mexrissey or Merissey?
Mexrissey, maybe. Mexrissey.
Are the best one, I think.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah, it's like Cholo version of fucking Morrissey. With Spanish lyrics. And then, man, it's funny because some Mexicans will love Morrissey, but they don't really understand the lyrics or the culture that it comes from. Like, they did a cover of Last of the Famous International Playboys, but they translated it into Spanish. And... which is a story about gangsters.
That's about the Craze.
It was about the Cray brothers.
Yeah.
And the Mexicans are in there. So you fucking Mexicans. The Mexicans are fucking cursing the Mexicans. You fucking Mexicans. Oh, you and your organized crime. Stop talking about gangsters. And I had to jump in there. This is years back. I had to jump in the conversation. Like, wait a minute, hold on. That is what the original song is about. It's about gangsters.
It's about the Cray brothers.
And it's some
Ronnie and Reggie.
Some non-English speakers are reading into Morrissey of what it is Morrissey's talking about.
But that's what happens.
He has a stylish, Sinatra crooner kind of a.
Yeah.
But Morrissey loved crime and criminals.
Well, there is
the romance behind crime.
There is a subset. It's not just Morrissey.
Yeah.
I was married to a British person for 15 years, and I went back and forth to the UK. The UK has, I don't know about nowadays, but back in the old days, back in, the 80s and 90s, they have this, like, romanticism about, not serial killers or anything. Nobody likes those.
Gangsters.
But gangsters. People that just, like, rob banks or that just kind of, like, get things over. There's some kind of, like, romanticism about that, like, in some subculture. So I kind of feel like that Morrissey, like, latched on to that. He does definitely have a romanticized vision of certain types of crime, like certain types of gangsters. So he, Last of the Famous International Playboys is obviously about the Craze. He names the Craze in the lyrics, for Christ's sake.
Raji and Reggie.
He says their names in the words. Right. So it's very clear that that's who he's talking about.
Yeah, no, Morrissey and the Smiths would goes down well in Latino cultures, Brazilian, Mexican, and everything in between there, because of the drama.
Yeah, I get that.
And the romance behind it.
That was what attracted me to it.
Yeah,
initially.
That's what they're talking about. The sentimentality. Latin culture is very emotional and sentimental. That's why I was saying I could go anywhere all throughout Central and South America and do fine, because everything is one-on-one, man-to-man. It is sentimentality, a lot about empathy. As long as you don't, but these are Romanesque cultures, though. If you reap what you sow. If you betray people, if you hurt people, you will be hurt. It's eye for an eye. Okay, that's just. But I grew up like that, so I understand exactly what it is. Loyalty. It's about loyalty. Do not betray people. You'll be okay. The thing is, though, is that most of the time, if you enter any kind of an agreement with a Central or South American, you're entering into it voluntarily. They won't force you into it. But if you go into this agreement voluntarily, you better fucking uphold your end of the bargain. It's very American in a way. That's the way the Old West was. It's natural to, say, a Southerner. Honor-based cultures, not so much legalistic cultures. All right, this is not really a Northeastern thing, unless you're talking about the Italian or the Irish neighborhoods outside Boston, then yeah, you know, they're kind of like that too, but it's different.
Well, they're kind of like, well, if you fuck me over personally, then I'm going to take care of this shit.
That's right.
I'm not going to get any greater authority involved.
Right, exactly. It's man to man. You fucked me over, so I'm going to have to make you pay. Nobody else is going to see this. It is a gangster mentality.
Yeah.
But that's natural. That's the way most people were throughout the history of civilization. Ancient Rome was built on those principles.
Mary says, Daytona, you rent canvas rafts and play in the waves all day. Also can rent motor scooters. Yeah, honestly, for the first, I want to say, almost 30 years of my life, I lived in Daytona Beach, or around Daytona Beach. When I was a kid, my mom used to take us to the beach every weekend. I hated it because I was like a little goth kid, even when I was like really young. And I was just kind of like, I don't want to tan. So I used to like sit underneath the pier so I wouldn't get any sun. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would always bring like a bucket of like KFC because one of my uncles ran the franchise like, locally, so we could get like free chicken. So we would get like the KFC bucket. We'd go to the beach. My mom would just like lay out the sun being like, yeah, she's like cooking and stuff. And I was just kind of like, I'm going to go sit under the pier so I don't get any sun. And I would sometimes go in the ocean, but I saw Jaws. And I've had like little sharks rub against my leg in very shallow water.
Yeah.
So that happens to you a few times. You're just like, yeah, no, thank you. I would rather not.
Now, Raulito Fernandez is saying that the Arab people are still very honor-based. He said, yes, I will attest to this. I was in Egypt for about 6 months and had a good time in Egypt and in Israel and Sinai Peninsula. I had good experience with everybody there, including the Bedouins when I was on desert patrol with the MFO. And a lot of my extended family, my grandfather worked for Grumman Aerospace and was sent by his company to Isfahan, Iran, where he worked for the Shah of Iran before he was overthrown. And then after that, a lot of my uncles who were from Task Force 160 Special Operations Aviation Group, they were helicopter pilots, two of them, and one of my aunts. They're in the Middle East now, and they work as chopper pilots. One of them is working for a guy in one is Saudi, the other one is I can't remember the name of that country. I'm drunk, so I don't remember it. But as helicopter pilots, they make a lot of money. They work for I don't know if they're sultans, but they're on that level. They're semi-royal families. What is Dubai? Dubai. One of my uncles works out of Dubai as a helicopter pilot, executive level helicopter pilot. And I have cousins, female cousins and shit that go there all the time. They're with a Shadora. They speak Arabic and Farsi. But and my grandfather was, on my mother's side, was shit, man.
You're right.
Yeah. But
yeah.
I'm trying to remember.
Was what?
He was Syrian. He was half Syrian. Okay. He was a Syrian Christian. So I guess you would probably do a genetic test on me. I would be 1/4 Syrian.
Where if your grandfather was?
Yeah, he was half Syrian. So I'd have been.
Okay, so maybe an eighth.
1/8, yeah.
Yeah.
1/8 Syrian Christian.
Am I mathing correctly?
No, you have 4 grandparents.
I know that.
So that makes you 1/4, right?
Well, not necessarily.
If he's half, then that makes you 1/4, right? 1/8, 1/8, yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah. You're right. You're right.
I know.
Right. His father was American from Connecticut, but his mother was from Syria. She was a Syrian Christian. So that would maybe be 1/8 Syrian. The rest of it is all Irish and Scottish and German, though. We need to do probably some Native American. We need to do a damn DNA test, see.
I did a Native American, like a DNA test on my mother's side.
Yeah.
Which was Turkish.
Yeah.
Via Europe.
Okay. Because I was talking to Sada.
You know the dude they found in Turkey that was like he wasn't a mummy, but he was like you know what I mean? What was this? It wasn't Otzi the Iceman. It was the other
Utsi.
Yeah. Yeah, but it was one they found in Turkey.
Yeah.
My haplogroup was the same as that guy's.
Right.
My dad's side of the family is the Native American side.
Right.
My mom's side of the family was Turkish via European.
Yeah. But I would I would like to see my DNA test because fucking Saad, he's a listener and he's in Saudi Arabia. He said, well, the Syrian Christians were Western anyway. So I'm not sure how Middle Eastern I would be in terms of fucking genetics. Because evidently the Syrian Christians were kind of more like Greeks.
And at this point, I kind of feel like how much does it matter?
They're all cousins.
I mean, we're all kind of all related.
Kind of related, right?
Really, it's just kind of a matter of degree.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Mary says St. Augustine has great events this weekend. They have piles of oyster shells. Honestly, I love St. Augustine. I did a vacation in St. Augustine this past June, and I've been thinking about going back. Although I would really like to do like a week or two, but I want to do it in the winter time because it's too fucking hot to go in the summer. I mean, I went in June last time, and it wasn't too bad, but most of the time I was like walking around all day going, oh my god, I'm dying, and I had like fucking... You know, it was like super, super hot. But so I'd rather go in the winter time. So maybe I'll go like in January, February.
Tina's talking about what's the best DNA test to do. She'd be interested to find out what hers were.
I don't know. I did one. The one I did was through National Geographic. They were actually doing a study, and it was for like educational purposes.
Yeah.
They were trying to like track like migration of populations like over the period. So you could submit your shit to them, and they would tell you what haplogroup you were part of, and where your like ancestors came from and stuff.
Right.
But I did it through that, so I don't know. I've heard like good and bad things about shit like 23andMe, and there's like a bunch of different ones nowadays, and some of them I think you have to watch because some of them I think are like bullshit. They will just kind of like send you just like some random like fucking shit that doesn't have anything to do with your DNA.
Yeah.
So you do have to watch, but it'd probably be better to go with one of the more, like kind of heavy hitter ones.
Based on my research, prepare yourself because most African Americans who've been here for more than a couple generations are about 30% European. You say, well, I'm black. Well, you look at you're black, right? But if you put you against somebody from fucking Central Africa, there's a big difference a lot of times in the way they look. In general, African Americans are about 30% European, so that's usually how it goes.
Well, because there's been a lot of there's been a lot of like
and
obviously it's the U.S., so everyone's been humping everybody.
Yeah, it goes way back.
So
and then there's like a negative aspect. Well, that was slavery, this and that. No. The blackest state.
Well, sometimes it was.
There was some of that, but if you go back, the blackest state during the slave era was Mississippi. It was 30% black. Didn't matter how big the population was. It tends to be 30% black. Through most of Mississippi's history, because half of those counties had banned slavery, through most of Mississippi's history, a lot of the black people, I think more than half of them, were free people. And they were living right alongside white, what do you call them? Subsistence farmers. There was a lot of interbreeding going on during that period. They had to pass laws to stop it. That when you're passing laws to stop it, that means that it's happening. Okay? So there was a lot of interbreeding going on. even in the so-called slave days, because there was a lot of free black people during the slave days. Just because you were black didn't mean you were a slave in those periods. In that period, they had a lot of free people for a lot of different reasons. Some plantations just went broke, and the slave holder, they didn't call them owners, they called them holders. They had weird ways of fucking writing it out to kind of justify it.
So it didn't sound so bad.
Yeah, because they actually were trying to make this look like they were helping people. Well, they would come from over there, we're helping them, and I'm just holding them, and we're taking care of them. Yeah, that was kind of what they told themselves.
Yeah, that was like the narrative.
So some of them were kind of go broke or getting sick and get ready to die, and they would just free a lot of them. That's where a lot of it came from. That's where a lot of free people came from. And then they would go on to have children with each other. But then there was weird shit going on. You'd have a plantation owner who was crooked as fuck, who needed more labor, and would hire basically Boba Fett or some slave catcher, kind of like a mercenary, to go to a goddamn free county that had free blacks in it to go capture some people and bring them back to a slave county and make them work in a damn fucking plantation. Now, if you've seen that movie Free State of Jones County, Mississippi, what they're talking about, white people would go and sometimes free them black people that got re-enslaved too. It wasn't... There's this fucking thing in Hollywood culture that everyone agreed with slavery. They didn't. Slavery was not popular, especially with poor white people, for a lot of different reasons. And it maybe wasn't always, well, we got to save these. Religious people in general were like, this is wrong. Poor people were like, this is wrong because it's making me broke. That had a lot to do with it. Because you just couldn't compete with the plantation. They would just... and the same thing was happening in ancient Rome. The rise of populist uprisings and revolts, which overthrew the government and brought in Julius Caesar, was because the senators had enslaved all these damn Germans and had them working on plantations, which denied combat veterans who'd been fighting a fucking war against them. What was the name of that country they were fighting in North Africa? I think it was the Peloponnesian War. Carthage. They couldn't get their damn farm because they were promised all this land as retirement. If your civilization is based on slave labor, you will never become a rich country. It just depresses the economy. And that was one of the problems of the South. You just couldn't make any money there as long as those plantations existed. And that was all the South could do, because as soon as you started any kind of damn industrial activity, big companies up north would use fucking gangster tactics to fucking destroy your company. Through, and the railroads did it, the oil companies did it. It was very fucking, it was a time of gangsterism, really. They were called the robber barons. And the robber barons kept the South poor and agricultural for a long time. But they're not going to tell you that in history of today, because they write the history. The South has always been oppressed. And it, big business. It had more to do with just very fucking robber barons.
Well, the thing about it, though, is that I kind of feel like when I was at school, they kind of talked about the robber barons as though they were like the saviors of America and shit like that. But I do kind of feel like nowadays
it was a mixed bag.
They're at least teaching the reality of the shit. That it wasn't, they might have done a few good things, but probably they did a lot of bad shit.
The robber baron era was kind of like America's version of the Great Leap Forward in China. Yeah, we became an industrial superpower, but on the backs of fucking lots of poor dead people.
Yeah.
The color didn't matter. Motherfucker, can I have some more tea, sir? Can I have some more porridge?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's just kind of like... Yeah, it's
the
easy.
Rockefellers and the fucking...
Well, like I said, I grew up
and...
in the 70s and 80s. Yeah. And I kind of feel like back then they were still teaching that I don't even think I heard the term robber baron until I was older. They didn't frame them that way when I was at school. they framed them as not necessarily heroes, but they framed them in a way that's like, oh, look, this guy invented this, and this guy like had this big company, and made this kind of like a contribution to American society. It was very glossed over.
Yeah.
Like all of the people, like we didn't hear anything about railroad strikes or any of that kind of stuff when I was in school at all. So I kind of like feel like that's good that people are teaching that nowadays, because that's fucked up. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
I don't remember ever hearing about that in school. I didn't learn about it until later, till I was older. So they weren't teaching that in the 70s.
Yeah, and then
there's where I was.
Yeah, and then when they've really dumbed down why the South had seceded. Some people will say it was because of slavery. Other people said to defend slavery. Then other people say no, it was because of states' rights. It was both of those, but that was only half of it. It actually had the Civil War had been going on for decades, even before that, and it even went back into the honky land of Europe. It had a lot to do with with ethnic fucking conflict, because the South was mostly Germans, Irish, and Scottish. The North was more Scandinavian and British. So they hated each other back even in the honky motherland. So it was
They come to the new country and they're still like...
They're still fighting in the new country over what happened fucking 200 years ago. So it goes further back than even America.
Well, like I said, everything's always more complicated.
It's more complicated.
But, there's only so much you can teach to, like, school kids, for example. But you should actually, like, kind of teach them that not everything is, like, black and white.
It wasn't black and white. It was mixed. It was a mixture
At least
of a bunch of shit.
Give them, like, a taste of the nuance that was going on.
Right. You go to the restroom. You want some more?
Yeah, I need another drink.
Okay.
Mary says, most Europeans have like 1 or 2% Neanderthal. I got 4%. Creepy. That's not creepy. Neanderthals were a proud race. And actually now everybody, well, most white people, I kind of feel like, have a few like percentage of Neanderthal in there. That's okay. Like I said, the Neanderthals, yeah, they didn't survive, but they seem to be like pretty okay dudes. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with... And it's funny because even nowadays, I saw an actor in a movie the other day. I'm like, ooh, look at that Neanderthal brow that dude has. So obviously some people have like larger percentages than others, but that's okay. That's okay. And I'm not shaming them, because Neanderthals seem like they had their shit together. They just, I don't think it was anything to do with them being like quote unquote inferior to Homo sapiens. I think it was a lot of different factors that ended up with them like not surviving. I just think it was a lot of environmental factors that had to go with it too. So it wasn't just that. Let's see. We're talking about wineries. Northern California is the best. They don't really talk about the carpetbaggers either. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's not covered. It's been a long time since I've been at school, obviously. But I don't really remember, in a lot of my history classes, I don't really remember them getting into anything super controversial. I remember most of the shit was very rah-rah, aren't we the awesomest? Like, kind of like, there wasn't like a lot of negativity brought into the American myth, I feel like, in the 70s and 80s when I was going to school. And I feel like I didn't find out about a lot of stuff. Shit, I didn't even find out that Christopher Columbus was a piece of shit until a lot later. Because I kind of feel like when I was in school as a kid, they taught you, oh, Christopher Columbus, he discovered America. And it was just like this whole mythology that was built up until you find out later on, not exactly. That's not exactly how it happened. And also, he kind of sucked. You don't really find that out until later on, and you have to kind of like search that shit out on your own. So, in a way, like, I kind of like that they're... I don't know. I don't have kids nowadays, so I don't know what they're teaching, and like I don't know what the curriculum is like. I'm sure it's different in every state. But I think it's better to teach more like what really happened. You don't have to go super into everything, but it's better to teach like a little bit of nuance, because nothing is ever this is the good guy and this is the bad guy. There's always a lot of like nuance going on, and I think it's better that like kids understand that like from an early age. Because I remember being kind of upset when later on, I read about Christopher Columbus. I read about a lot of stuff that had happened in American history that they hadn't taught me in history class. Thank you.
Right.
And I was just kind of like, why didn't I ever get taught this? It's just like, this isn't, and it's just kind of like, I don't know. I just kind of felt like everybody sort of lied to me just to make it seem like, oh, everything's the best and we're not going to talk about anything controversial or anything. So, I think kids can handle it. I could have handled it. It makes me, I don't know, it makes me sad. And maybe depending where you grew up, I grew up in Daytona Beach, Florida, and they were still very, Christopher Columbus discovered America and this and that and the other thing. And it was just kind of like, it was all very like simplistic.
Yeah.
And like I said, all of the robber barons were
dumbed down.
Absolutely not. It's like, oh, look what they built, this and that, and they had all these they're all awesome like human beings, and they brought, I don't remember hearing anything negative, really. I don't remember hearing about strikes. I don't remember hearing about any of the bad shit that happened.
All the robber barons were ruthless gangsters.
Well, sure.
They just were.
But they never said that.
No. And they were very guilty about it because in the end of their lives, they all knew each other. They were all friends. Carnegie and fucking... I don't think so much the Morgans. I think they were a little bit later. Because as they got old and were getting ready to die off, they got into a race of giving away, a competition of giving away everything that they had. We got to give this all back to the people.
Oh, well, now we feel bad.
Yeah.
Now that we're almost going to die.
Yeah.
Too bad you didn't feel bad earlier.
Because deep down they were Christians. They were afraid of going to hell. The hell I'd do that, But I will give it this. They did build the infrastructure of the Union.
Like I said, nothing's ever black or white. They did do some good shit.
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's some beautiful architecture. There's some beautiful stuff that was invented that wouldn't have happened because of them. But they did a lot of really terrible shit too.
They advanced technology. But this was at the cost of there was a lot of human cost.
Yeah.
But here's the thing. A lot of the shit that they did was just because they saw the opportunity. They took it. It was advancement, money, power, status for them. The technological world did grow. It got better from their point of view. Yeah, people got hurt, but you know what? People were everywhere. And the thinking of the time was, well, people don't live long anyway. Fuck them.
Well, see, the thing about it is that, look, if you've lived your entire life, or even if you've made a fuck ton of money, so much that you don't have to worry about anything ever again, you kind of go into this other mindset where other human lives don't matter to you at all. You almost kind of get into a thing where other human lives, they're just like ants to you, pretty much. So it's like, well... if a couple thousand of them get crushed, oh well, gotta break a few eggs to make an omelet. You don't think about that person, and they have a family and a whole extended network of friends and stuff that would, you know what I mean? You don't think about it like that. They don't.
Yeah, and most of the robber barons were hood rats themselves from Europe. You're not talking about real enlightened people. They were more like witty, ruthless, and fucking intelligent. They were and their way of looking at things was like this. They see an opportunity. See, like a string. I pull this string and this will happen. If I pull this string, my power will double. Well, shit, if I pull the string, my power doubles, but these people get hurt if I do that.
But I don't know them, so fuck it.
Well, not only that, other people can see this string. If I don't pull it, they will. So their power will double.
Well, that's how they justify it. They're like, well, if I don't do it,
somebody else will. So I'm going to pull the string. There you go.
So
that's what they were thinking. That's what they were thinking.
Well, I understand that. I understand how they justify it to themselves.
Yeah,
it's still fucked up, but you can justify it yourself.
That's the justification, though.
But
so it's a machine driving itself forward.
That's how they sleep at night. Well, because they think to themselves, if I don't do it, somebody else will do it.
Right.
And those people will die anyway, so I might as well and make all the money.
Right, that way I make the money instead of that asshole.
Yeah.
Because somebody's going to make this money.
Yeah.
And that's the way they looked at it.
Yeah.
There was truth to it.
I know.
There was truth to it. It was like a mindless machine running forward.
I mean, I understand that they think that. It's just harder when you're, someone that's like me, that's like on the bottom.
Right.
And it's like when shit actually affects your actual life and you're like, do they...
Right.
But you have to understand they don't care they don't know you. They don't give a shit about you.
Yeah.
I mean, they would just, like, if they could make some money, they would just, like, fucking wipe you out right now.
Yeah.
They don't give a shit. What are Jenny and Tom drinking? I am drinking a screwdriver. That is just vodka.
Sky vodka and orange juice.
It is Sky vodka and orange juice.
I'm drinking El Jimador tequila. This is the reposado, which is kind of, it's not silver and it's not anejo. It's in the middle with it's a sunrise.
Mike also says, how come we're not smoking tonight? How long has it been since you've been here?
I haven't been smoked in forever.
We haven't smoked in years and years and years.
Yeah, quit smoking.
We quit smoking and we quit vaping. Because I kind of feel like I still get comments nowadays about the vaping.
Yeah.
From the old shows. Because
Yeah,
remember, we used to, before we were even on camera, when it was just audio with like a slideshow.
Okay, look.
And you would be on there like...
Yeah. Back when I didn't give a shit. The show's evolved.
You still don't.
I still kind of don't give a shit, but I stopped. Tammy's came up with a good one. What about Old West Outlaws?
Ooh,
I
that's
know
a good
all
one,
about
too.
them. I know all about them.
I mean, we did do a Ghost of the Old West, and that one was really fun.
Yeah, I can do all kinds of Old West Outlaws. Know all about them and the weapons that they used and the tactics. And they were good. They were very good. Some of them were real good. Wild Bill was one of the best ones. Motherfucker was a badass shot. Great trick shot. Made a lot of money. Doing traveling Old West shows later on. Dude could shoot. It was just another era. They could shoot and they were real good. 6 rounds, that was it. And a fucking revolver that was very slow to reload. They could hit. If they could see it, they could hit. And they could shoot with 2 different hands and hit different targets at the same time. You could throw some up in front of them, they could snap shoot it and hit it. They were very good. Didn't use sights. It was all just by feel. Muscle memory. Wild Bill was deadly. And it wasn't, and he was a celebrity, and it wasn't bullshit. Law enforcement agents, would deputize him and help him go out and do things, It's just like, look, now that you're in town, I'm having a problem with this dude. Let me deputize you. I'll give you $200 you help me arrest this guy. I fucking need you to back me up. And then he'd put his drink down and put the cards down. Yeah, okay, well, take it.
All right, give me $200.
That was just the way it was, It was just, yeah, okay.
I might get shot, but okay.
Yeah. And,
well, it was the gig economy.
Yeah, it was gig economy.
Before they called it that.
And then it was a small scene.
Before you were driving for Uber, you would go and help cops round up outlaws.
And it was a small scene, and you had guys writing pulp novels, and they were from New England. And they would go down into the West and write pulp novels about these guys and try to sell them over in fucking New York and Boston. That's why you remember them. More from the pulp novels that was
so it's more like the social media of the time,
right,
than it was maybe the actual shit that happened. But like I said, that's kind of like humans we like stories.
Yeah.
We're not really interested in what really happened. We just want like a really good story.
A good movie on this that was fairly accurate, and I can fucking attest to pretty much everything that's said in this. Who's been in fucking dangerous situations in armed conflicts where people got killed? It was what was the name of that fucking The Unforgiven?
It was just Unforgiven.
Unforgiven. Yeah.
Yeah.
Eastwood.
That was an awesome.
And that's a pretty accurate portrayal of the Old West. It even has the writer in there, and then the Duck or the Duke, because you had fakes. You also had fake gunfighters. It was the same fucking thing.
Like I said, humans are not that different.
Not
it's
that different,
just all that's different is like the technology of the time. If you knew what you were doing, you could work whatever the cutting edge technology was.
If you haven't seen Unforgiven, see Unforgiven.
She's asked about the Donner Party. Did we do a show about the Donner Party?
Did a show on it. I think we did a show on it.
I'm pretty sure. I think we did a show on cannibalism.
Yeah.
I remember doing a show about the Donner Party. I don't think it was just about the Donner Party. I think we talked about the Donner Party and maybe one other case that was like Old West
Mike
cannibalism.
says, love your Giallo reviews, Jenny.
Thank you. Actually, in June, I'm thinking about doing all Giallo movies for June.
Yeah.
It's going to be Giallo June. Like, April and May, I'm just going to do, like, whatever. Because there's a lot of movies that I have to catch up on. Of just, you know, whatever subgenre. But I want to get back to doing Giallo. So I thought, well, Giallo June, that kind of sounds good. So I'm going to do all Giallo movies for June. So just a heads up on that. But I did do Trauma, which is going up tomorrow. Unless you're a Patreon, in which case you've already seen it. But I'm putting it up tomorrow. That's sort of a Giallo. That was a forgotten Dario Argento movie. And it has some interesting kind of shit. But I don't know. Dario Argento put his daughter Asia into a lot of his movies. Trauma was the first one where he did that. And she was still... I kind of feel like technically she was still a minor. I think she was 17 when this was shot. She's supposed to be 16 in the movie. She might have been 18. I'm not entirely sure. But the fact that, like, she's showing her boobies and there was, like, this all... I don't know. There's, like, a weird dynamic between those two.
They're asking how the garden's going. Been getting a lot of spinach out of the garden, making pizzas with it.
He made me pizza, and it had spinach on it from the garden. It was delicious.
Yeah, spinach and it was a white pizza with spinach and chicken, canned chicken. I can get canned chicken at the general store for only like $1.50. So I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna put this on
down to general
make a
store.
pizza topping out of that shit. Then
Speaking of Old West,
yeah, and then potatoes are coming. I should be able to yield enough potatoes to supply a whole month's worth of potatoes each month. We'll see. I gotta get it right.
I mean, potatoes
Onions
are good to have.
Yeah, onions, broccoli. Broccoli comes pretty regularly, and then the leaves off the broccoli. I'm gonna try to make an Indian thing like saag. You know, like saag.
Yeah.
Maybe like saag paneer or palak paneer with the chicken, or palak saag, something like that. I forgot what it was called.
Palak.
Yeah, where it'd be like a green, creamy, green vegetable stew. Because there's a lot of stuff that comes out of there that you can eat it, but normally the market would probably throw it away. Like, when have you bought cauliflower leaves? Because there's leaves, right?
Yeah.
They're edible, but people don't buy those. But people didn't used to buy chicken wings. Not really.
That's what I mean. If you know what to do with them.
If you know what to do with them, right. You can make something out of them. Tomatoes, but man, I'm fucking worried about tomatoes. There's so many predators with tomatoes. I don't know if tomatoes will come
you
out.
gotta watch. Where we live, it's a little bit rural.
Right.
So we have a lot of
shit gets eaten up.
Little animals out here that you can't blame them. They're like, hey, free shit. It's like going to the fast food restaurant. So, you know.
Put a bunch. I'll take a video and we'll put it up on the thing. Fucking. Got a whole bunch of
smart. Do that.
Got a whole bunch of bushes around the perimeter.
They're very small right now.
They're small right now, but they'll grow into hedges that'll be like.
We wanted
fence.
like a privacy hedge.
Right.
Around, because we have like a big lot, but it's open.
Once that's done, the neighbors and the fucking HOA will not be able to see my back lot. Okay, it's a big back lot. Man, if I wanted to, I could put a chicken coop out there, or I could put fucking rabbits out there. Even though slaughtering rabbits would hurt my feelings.
Please don't.
I could kill chickens, no problem. I could keep chickens out there just to have eggs.
I would rather just have egg chickens.
Right. I mean, if we had egg chickens, I could. But the thing is,
I don't want you like killing chickens or rabbits, and I don't want to watch that. Come on. I know I eat
chickens.
chicken.
I can kill chickens, no problem. But there's something about rabbits. They're too close to a cat.
That's what I mean. That'd be like killing a pookie.
You're right, yeah. They're too close to a cat. And my friend Angel says, Angel's this goth girl that we know. She's been over here and she's going to say, I'm breeding rabbits. When I get ready, I'll give you fucking several rabbits a week. We'll trade this and that. So we start trading food. And I says, how do you kill those rabbits? And he goes, I got this fucking piece of wood. It's like a V. I put their heads in like that, pull like that, and brace their fucking head.
How can you?
And she's, I'm like,
I used to have Pet Bunny when I was younger.
This is you don't feel nothing.
I don't eat rabbits. I don't eat rabbits.
I'm like, I could cut its head off maybe with a cleaver, but you're just doing. She goes, yeah, it doesn't matter. It just knocks them out.
No, I couldn't do that.
And I'm like, those are kind of cute though. You know. I mean, I can kill chickens. I just fucking bam. They're just chickens. You know what I mean? But you know, but
I mean,
rabbits,
if I had to, I would. But like a rabbit, come on.
And I kill deer.
I don't eat rabbit either.
I've killed. So. Let me show you guys. I'll kill deer. I even got pictures to prove that I killed deer. All right.
But nobody wants to see that. Come on.
No, I got pictures of my.
Mike says Stendhal Syndrome is Ozzy Argento's best performance. Great film. I agree. A lot of people said that Dario kind of lost it after Opera, maybe 1987, but not true. Stendhal Syndrome is good. Some people like Sleepless, although I haven't seen it in a while. But I really like Stendhal Syndrome. Although it's really weird how he put Ozzy Argento in there, and she got brutally raped in there, multiple times, which is fucked up.
That's me as a kid. With one of my deer kills, killed that with a fucking 50 caliber muzzle loader. That was out in Mississippi.
Tila says
I killed deer and I eat them, but I don't know if I could bust the head off a damn rabbit.
Rabbits are so fucking cute.
They're kind of cute, you know.
Like I said, I had a pet rabbit.
Yeah.
His name was Scooter.
Some people ask me about my mom. I'll show you guys a picture of my mom. That's Tom's mom.
That's a very old picture.
Very old picture. She was like 25 there. Yeah. Okay.
Tila says apparently bunnies and cats can be raised together and have fun.
Yeah, they can. Evidently.
I mean, like I said, I had a pet rabbit when I was younger.
There's something about an animal being too small and too cute and
they're so cute and fuzzy and like they're little fucking it's too much like a cat.
Too much like a cat.
Nope. I'd really have to be fucking desperate.
Yeah.
I'd really have to be desperate. I don't like killing cute animals for the shit. I don't even like killing ugly animals. Like I said earlier, I was watching Kingdom of the Spiders, and I was getting upset at them killing tarantulas, because I'm sure they did for that. And I was like, but they're so big, and they're fuzzy, and it's like, they're kind of cute. Knock it off. What are you doing? You're stepping on them and stuff. It's like, I was getting kind of upset, and like I couldn't like watch it. So Tom doesn't like spiders, so he thinks that's funny. But honestly...
Mike says Tom was a badass back in the day. I still am a badass. You're talking about I'm a badass now than I ever was. I only weighed about 130 back in those days, bro. I could go back and beat my 18-year-old self up.
Oh wait, would you do that?
I'm just not as pretty.
Would you do that?
Not as pretty as I was, but
if I invented a time machine, would you go back
and beat my old self up
and beat your old self up?
Yeah.
For YouTube views.
For me being a dumbass back then.
But I kind of feel like everybody that's older.
Yeah, you look back at yourself, you're a dumbass.
I mean, I don't do that though. I don't think I was stupid back in the old days. Although the weird thing about it is that,
that's right. Cats and raccoons also get together. Yeah,
they do.
Beijing loves raccoons.
Loves raccoons.
Yeah, she tried to fuck the raccoons. Like 4 of them showed up, and she's like, "I love you, bitches. I love all of you.
Adopt me into your family."
She was trying to fucking surrender.
I am also a raccoon.
Yeah, she was trying to surrender to the raccoons. The raccoons are like, "What is this thing?"
You have a puffy tail. I have a puffy tail.
Yeah.
We're both kind of stripy. I'm kind of stripy.
Yeah, Beige was trying to fucking get laid.
She totally was. She was trying to like get herself adopted into the
raccoon family.
The raccoon.
It was a raccoon
family
orgy.
Unit. Yeah. I don't know what that was about, but she.
It was sexual. I could tell it by her body language.
She totally was.
She's like, "You guys are so cute. Come get some of this."
Beijing is so weird.
Yeah.
She got fixed a long time ago, but she still is very. I mean, Beijing. She's older. She's what? How old is she? 12 or 13?
Yeah, she's old.
She's very much a princess.
Yeah.
She's very much a princess.
Yeah, maybe I'll put some chickens out there once those hedges grow up. We'll see. There's chickens and there's cows over there and everything. I might buy a cow. I got a fucking freezer coming up. Bought a freezer and the bitch through Amazon and it never showed up. It never showed up. So I fucking told them, I says, this shit never showed up. It said it arrived here. It never came. They gave me my money back. So Amazon's lying. I bought another freezer. We'll see if that one shows up. Because...
Well, they said they delivered it, but I think...
Half the shit I'm trying to order off Amazon never shows up.
I think they delivered it to a neighbor's house, and the neighbor was like, hey, free freezer.
I don't think they did.
Maybe.
I don't think it ever came, because they gave the money back instantly. And I have a bunch of shit that didn't show up. My fucking throat mic and everything from my fucking radios never showed up. It said it did. I'm asking for a refund. Haven't got it. Fucking glass vials for fucking test and other kind of shit that I'm gonna make later on. Never showed up. Anything from China's not showing up. Amazon's lying about what's at your house. Recently, these supply lines aren't working. They're telling you they're working. They're not working. But they gave me my money back.
Well, I mean,
I'm upset about it. And then
Honestly,
I go down here and fucking they're out of stock of everything at these fucking stores. The shelves will be full, but it's the same thing over and over again. The selection isn't there. There's no lemon cookies. Where are my fucking lemon cookies? Where's my fucking peanut butter cookies? Even at Publix, I went in there to go look for fucking lemon sunshine cookies.
Oh, they didn't have them?
They didn't have them.
I haven't been in public.
They're extinct. They're extinct.
Maybe they don't make
and I'm
them
looking,
anymore.
and then I went in there and says, well, I'm going to get some of that fucking Publix soda. Diet soda. Diet soda was gone. They're making it look like fucking there's soda there. They'll just take some bullshit soda and fill up. Yeah, I know what they're doing. They're trying to pad it. They're trying to make it look like they have a selection. There's no selection there. I haven't told you that. I've been shielding you from that. The selection is going away.
No, I know.
The selection's going away.
You're not shielding. Like, I've been there. It's okay.
Yeah.
He thinks he's shielding me from
Shielding
this.
her from the truth. Okay, but what
Okay.
we're going to say.
Like, I can't find things out on my own.
You can't find this shit.
Thank you. That's very paternalistic
Okay.
of you.
That's right. The Illuminati in China have fucking plotted to stop getting the lemon cookies. That's right, Ben.
Tom is not allowed to have lemon cookies.
The lemon
those are
cookies
the best
fucking
ones.
disappeared.
Now, lemon cookies are the best.
Bitch,
Vanilla cookies are second
They're
down
second.
tier. Those are still
Lemon.
pretty good.
How are you going to live without lemon cookies?
I can live without lemon cookies. I can live. I mean, they're good,
Yeah.
but if somebody told me I couldn't have them,
How long have we been streaming?
I don't know. 3 hours.
Okay.
John Gora says, Food of the Gods is pretty upsetting when they're blasting real rats. Yeah, I
Yeah.
kind of feel like... I thought that the whole animal cruelty laws, I thought that came about in the 70s. Did it not?
There are probably certain animals you can kill. Rats.
Because I kind of felt like I was rewatching Kingdom of the Spiders, like the riff tracks from last night, and I was like, they're killing like actual tarantulas, like they're running them over and like stepping them on them and stuff. And I was like, you would not get away with that now. And rightfully, you shouldn't be fucking doing that for a movie.
Yeah.
Just for a movie. Don't like fucking kill animals for a movie. Jesus Christ.
But no, they were blasting rats with 22s.
They're just rats.
Yeah.
There's more of them. Whatever. Who cares?
They're vermin back in the 70s. So they're like, yeah, shoot the rats. But what's funny is
rats are like actually quite intelligent.
Well,
creatures.
here's the reason why you shouldn't be doing that. This is not a real rat infestation. These are rats that were purchased on the commercial market, placed into this location
to be in
shot
a movie.
on fucking
right.
You know, very different from you're at your farm. There's a rat infestation,
right?
And you're gonna bring the dogs in to fucking get these rats. Yeah, that's a different situation.
This is a movie that you're shooting.
Yeah, this is a movie. Right. It's not a setup.
Yeah, these are not actual rats that are invading your shit. They're eating all of the stuff out of your silo.
It's not nature. This is an unnatural situation.
So
don't kill rats in an unnatural. But because what it ends up being is that you're killing rats for the entertainment of the crowd. Not cool.
And nowadays, everybody's just like, "Fuck! Did you just kill a real rat? Fuck you!"
Right.
And that's what I'm thinking.
If you want to see the real thing, you go on YouTube and you can watch trained dogs, whole teams of trained dogs that'll go to somebody's farm to fucking get rid of a rat infestation. And they are badasses. They will fucking hunt down hundreds of rats, bite them, kill them, and then bring them back to master and drop them in a damn bucket. And they'll have buckets of fucking dead rats. And then they put them in the back of the damn truck. And they can wipe out an entire rat infestation on a fucking on a farm in a few hours without any insecticides. Totally natural. Now, what do you do with all that biomass of all those rats? I would probably make fertilizer out of them.
I mean, you would have to do something.
Right. I wouldn't waste it, actually. I'd try to chop them up and throw them in a fucking pond and let the catfish get them. And then you go eat the catfish later. I'd do something like that with them. But you don't want to waste biomass. Let some eat that.
You know, that's
I mean,
food for
I have
somebody.
a hard time, even though I still eat meat. I have a hard time like watching animals killed for the entertainment, like
just
in
not
a movie.
Yeah,
Fuck
for a
that.
movie.
Jesus Christ,
not for a movie.
Fuck. John Gora says cats in heat are hilarious.
Yeah, they are.
We have a video
Yeah.
of Pookie when she was still little, and she went into her first heat.
Yeah.
It was we had already made an appointment for her to get fixed.
Yeah.
But a week or two before the appointment, she went into heat. And she wasn't very old. She was only like, what, 8 months?
Yeah, not even a year.
Like, not even a year old.
Yeah.
And I took a video of it because I felt so bad for her.
Yeah.
I called it Kitty Pond Fire.
Yeah.
I don't know if I ever
She was
posted it or
fucking
not.
out of it.
Oh my god. She was like, she kept like scrooching down like on the kitchen floor and she'd stick her butt up in there and she was going,
Yeah.
and,
Get
like,
it.
And I was just kind of like, oh my god, look at her.
Fucking funny.
It was terrible. I felt so bad, but it was like so funny at the same
Beige
time.
was worse even when before I got her fixed. And before I knew you.
Well, yeah, because
was worse.
because I don't know if you guys know, but he's had Beijing since
a couple
before I
years
knew
before I
you.
met, yeah.
Yeah, like when I met you, like Beijing was older.
Yeah,
She
I
was
went
already
through
fixed.
2 heats with fucking Beijing, and after that second one, I had to have her fixed. Shit, she'd drive me fucking crazy. Wouldn't leave me alone.
Yeah, she's like, you're the
Follow
only
you all around.
you're the only male thing in this area.
Yeah, please. You know,
So she's like sticking her butt up at you
Yeah.
and stuff. Aw.
couldn't go anywhere. She'd follow you around, fucking grab you by your feet, your shoes and shit. Oh, don't go.
Come on.
Yeah.
Meet my needs.
Yeah,
Aw.
fucking funny.
They don't know any better. That's what's kind of sad. Well, that's what like kind of broke my heart about Pookie, because she was still so small. She was still like a kitten. She wasn't even a year old. I think she was like 8 months old.
Animals know gender, though. They know male from female. In other species, they know.
It was hilarious. Like the way she was.
Hilarious.
She was just like on the kitchen floor and she was like, hey,
Yeah.
and like her little butt
Screaming.
over there. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my god, look at this. And I was like, we have to get her to the vet like right now.
Okay.
Like I said, we'd already made the appointment. She hadn't gone yet. She's been a lot more chill. Tammy says Jenny lives such a sheltered life.
That's right.
Do I?
Yeah. Well, it's because I'm protecting you. That's what she's talking about.
He's protected me.
Protecting you from what's missing at the damn fucking Publix, at fucking Dollar General.
I've been to the Dollar General.
A lot of shit's missing.
And the Publix.
Yeah. Would Beijing freak out if you try to put it on camera? No. She would ignore it.
No.
She's like too cool for anything. Anything you
Yeah,
do, she's
Beijing's thing. Pookie is just kind of like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yeah,
What are you
yeah.
doing? Beijing is like, fuck you.
Yeah.
I'm not
Did you see, Tita? Did you see?
I don't even go here.
Did you see Beijing when I got her cut like a lion? And she had the whole fucking.
I posted
mane?
that earlier.
We posted that earlier.
That was a couple
Just
years back.
yeah,
there.
just fucking. She just got boots on and a fucking mane and a little fucking round pom pom on the end of her tail.
She was a little embarrassed.
And a fucking bow on her head. Cost $80 to get her cut like that.
She liked the bow though. I was
liked it.
surprised because normally she doesn't like anything impeding her whatever.
Right.
But I mean, Beijing. That's what I mean when people.
That cut lasted a long time.
It did.
It was $80.
But people
though.
talk about cats, and it's like, well, cats have different personalities.
Yeah.
Beijing and Pookie are completely different.
Yeah.
Beijing is very much a princess, and she is very much too cool for this shit. She does not want you to know that she gives a crap about anything. She's
Right.
very like, I don't even know like why I'm over here. And
Cut her like that because she had a fever and was fucking sweating. So she got sick. So she looked real hot. So I had her hair cut off because she was fucking so furry to give her some relief.
She has a lot of hair.
Yeah, too much hair.
She has a lot of hair.
And she felt better, but I kind of think that she felt embarrassed. I think she felt like she was
She
naked.
seemed.
She was kind of like shy about.
She was acting a little weird the whole time after that happened.
I don't have any clothes on.
Well, because
it
probably didn't help that we were just kind of like making a big deal about it.
Laughing and like, look at you.
And I told her, I was like, we're not laughing at you, I promise. And she was just like, I'm over. It's like, fuck y'all.
Yeah.
Why did you do this? Where are my clothes? Why did you do this to me? So her hair's grown back nowadays.
Yeah.
But now that we've been at this house, she took over the downstairs.
Yeah.
She will try to encroach upstairs.
Yeah.
But there's a whole, we've talked about this before, there's a whole kind of like conflict. Because Pookie owns the upstairs.
Yeah.
Beijing owns the downstairs. And the staircase is like the neutral zone.
Yeah.
But so there's a lot of like, so Pookie sometimes, I'll get up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, and Pookie is sleeping perched across the top of the staircase like this.
Yeah.
She's thinking if Beijing comes up the stairs, she wants to be right there to smack her.
Yeah.
It's hilarious, the two of them. The two of them are
They're
hilarious.
saying that you can order lemon cookies online. All right, you have to understand something. In the South, we grew up with a company called Sunshine, and I can't find Sunshine anymore. It might be gone.
They might be out of business.
It was the Little Debbie of cookies. All right. The little tag on the top, it was a lemon tag with a little fat man dressed up as a fucking chef. And it says Sunshine. All right.
I'm the fat sunshine
Little
chef,
fat, yeah.
he says.
Little fat man with his fucking chef's outfit. Well, they had one called Lemon Drop Cookies. And they were kind of like, they came in a bag, or a box with a bag inside of it. It was a green box.
Yeah, I remember that.
They were like Nilla wafers, round. Mm-hmm. And they had chips in them, but instead of chocolate chips, they were lemon-flavored chips, and they were rolled in fucking powdered sugar. So it was kind of like what we call here in the South a cocoon. But a cocoon had fucking pecans. It was butter pecan cocoon cookie. They were like that, but they were lemon. They were a butter cookie with lemon chips in them, rolled in powdered sugar. It was diabetes just waiting to fucking happen.
Diabetes.
Make you fat as fuck. They were great.
Well, not if you just ate one. But
Right. So I was looking for those. I couldn't find them. I found kind of like Hydrox cookies, which would be like a Oreo cookie where you gotta.
Which is funny.
Those are good too.
Well, let me
They're
just say,
lemon filling with a fucking vanilla cookies on the outside. They had them here. They were great, but they stopped bringing them. It's a lemon cookie apocalypse.
people think that Hydrox were a ripoff of Oreos.
No.
But Hydrox came first.
They were the first ones. Oreos were a ripoff.
I will
of
admit
Hydrox.
that Oreos are better than Hydrox,
Right.
but Hydrox
Was
came
the original.
first.
Right.
Yeah. So Oreos were actually a
Hydrox.
ripoff. Although if you did it better, kudos.
Yeah. Y'all Yankees don't understand that shit. Hydrox was the original. And it was... They were ghetto fucking
It's a
Oreo.
terrible name. It sounds like
Hydrox.
it sounds like a drug for like some
Hydrox,
fucking sexual
yeah.
dysfunction.
That was probably some high-tech shit back in the 30s when it came out.
Yeah.
They were the prototype Oreo. Oreo was an improved Hydrox.
I am not. I will say right here, maybe this is controversial. I'm not a huge fan of Oreos. If I'm gonna
like
eat,
'em.
if I'm gonna eat Oreos, they gotta be double stuffed. I don't like the single stuff.
I like them
Oreos.
both. I like
Fuck
them
that.
both.
I don't like the chocolate cookie action as much.
All that shit y'all...
I'm more into vanilla cookies.
All that shit y'all do, fucking going to down Dairy Queen and making these blizzards and shit. We invented that, okay? That was fucking Southerners.
Okay, now like Oreo,
Southerners,
like Blizzard and stuff, that's
yeah.
good.
That's right.
That's good.
Southerners, fucking white and black. We made that shit ourselves. We go and get some fucking ice cream and crush up Oreo cookies or anything, M&Ms, and put it in the ice cream and fucking store it like that. And if you had to add a little bit of milk to fucking loosen it up some, then or blender in a blender, you could do it like that too because we have blenders. But that's a Southern thing. Y'all stole it from us. Y'all stole it.
Gotta say though,
Y'all stole it. And fucking, there was all kinds of shit we would do. M&Ms, cookies, like Oreo cookies.
well,
Chocolate chip cookies in it.
Dairy Queen with the Blizzards.
Blizzard, right.
The best ones, I think, are not the Oreo ones. I think the best
Snickers.
ones are Snickers
Yeah.
and Heath Bar.
Heat bar. And what we did
Which
with
is
that,
toffee.
what we did those two, you took your bars and you froze them first. And then once they were frozen, you hit them with a hammer to shatter them.
and then you put those in ice cream and mix it up.
Snickers are better frozen anyway.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say that right now.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kind of like that some convenience stores, I don't know about now, but some convenience stores for a time would sell Snickers out of the freezer section, which I was a big fan of.
Yeah.
Because that's way better. They're good, like, just at room temperature.
Now they're talking about homemade
frozen.
ice cream and homemade Snickers. Okay. We made homemade ice cream a lot. The thing is that even back in the 70s and the 80s, you could buy ice cream cheaper than you could make it. Even back then. Remember that?
Yeah.
It was more expensive.
Well, the only ice cream we usually made was
peach.
Peach.
Okay.
Because that was seasonal.
You couldn't get it.
And my grandma and my dad were super into peach. I wasn't a big fan. But they loved peach ice cream. So you could only get it during the summer.
Right. Peaches came into season.
So they would just make it.
And you could find peaches just laying out in the grass underneath the trees. So you got to make peach ice cream. And real southern peach ice cream is fucking fantastic. You got to check the shit for worms, though, because some of that shit was found off the ground.
Yeah, you don't want worm ice cream.
So you got to cook it all up. You got to cut it and make sure that nothing got into it, and then wash it and put it in the ice cream maker. You had the rock salt on the outside, the cream, the sugar.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it would do like that, and you'd take the fucking peaches and put them in there. Oh, man, that shit was so good.
I mean, we made vanilla a few times, too, because I bitched, but...
You could also put peanut butter in there.
Mostly they made
peanut butter ice cream inside the vanilla ice cream. Did that. This is all kinds of stuff that we
See, that's one thing that I wish that we had done, but we had never.
You didn't do the peanut butter?
I don't think we did the peanut butter. We mostly just did vanilla, or mostly it was peach. Because, like I said, it was my grandma's ice cream maker.
Yeah.
And my dad, and they were super into peach ice cream.
Old school Southern.
And like I said, you couldn't get it. It was a seasonal thing.
Old school Southern homes had fucking more peanut butter than you could ever eat. I mean, you could get jars of peanut butter that were that big around and that tall for only a couple $. So it was a cooking ingredient. You could just scoop out a couple cups of peanut butter and throw it into a damn vanilla ice cream mix, and it would sit there, and when that shit would come out.
Oh my God, that sounds good.
Man, it was so good. Peanut butter. It was fucking really good. And,
Mike says peach ice cream. No, I'm not a big fan of fruity ice cream. I don't hate it.
It wasn't fruity though. It was creamy.
It's just not my favorite.
Yeah.
And peach is not really my favorite fruit flavor, gotta say. Yeah. If I'm gonna eat ice cream, I would rather it be like a more like bitter flavor. Yeah. I like chocolate or coffee. I like vanilla actually, but it has to have something in it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I like cookie dough or nuts or mint chocolate chip or something. Yeah. It has to have like some kind of texture. I don't really like a lot of fruit. I don't like fruity ice cream. I don't like sherbet. I don't like anything like that.
I like all that. I love it all.
I know you do, but I don't. I mean, I don't hate it. I'll eat it. I'm not saying that, but it's not my favorite.
Talking about fucking peanut butter cheesecake and all that stuff. Now, I must admit, when I was up in Michigan, Graham knows. Up there, I'd go to my friend Steve's house, and his mom, this was back when I was in high school, his mom would make candy bars by the sheet pan. She would make O. Henry bars. Man, those fuckers were good.
Oh, yeah, my mom used to do that.
O. Henry bar by the sheet pan. Yeah. I'd fucking tear them things
like
up.
The home version of cookie. Thank you, John Robertson. Thank you. Hey, guys, I had to tune into Tom's show and him talking about the South. I was raised by my great-grandparents, and I heavily understand what you're talking about. Tom, I wanted your opinion on the Sith from Star Wars.
Okay. Sith from Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
Clarify about what kind of opinion you're talking about.
Well, you just give your opinion about
it. All right.
Here we go. Maybe.
Star Wars actually came from Joseph Campbell. The story behind Star Wars came from Joseph Campbell. Lucas listened to Campbell a lot. And Campbell got a lot of that stuff from Buddhism. And there's a lot of truth to what they were saying in the old Star Wars stuff. It also mixes in with Europeans that read about Star Wars and tried to bring that, read about it mixes in with what Europeans were reading about Buddhism, and they brought it into the modern world.
That's the thing. Joseph Campbell kind of like codified a lot of the things that worked in stories.
Yeah.
That made stories long lasting.
Yeah.
He was trying to like break down what elements of it were, that resonated with people.
Right. So there's a
across
mythological truth. You say, well, what is a mythological truth? There's a lot of true lessons in mythology. Now, Europeans brought Buddhism into the European sphere in the 1800s. That would have been Arthur Schopenhauer and Friedrich Nietzsche later on. And that's what you're talking about when you're talking about the Sith. If you look at what Friedrich Nietzsche is talking about when he's talking about going beyond the concepts of good and evil. If you have some dumb motherfucker who's just evil, not much happens to him. He gets killed, he gets into a fight, he gets killed, and he dies. Or he goes into prison. And this even goes back to even the Schopenhauer. But it's very different if you take a talented motherfucker and immerse him into pain and turmoil and he kind of becomes evil. Then what you end up with is kind of like a extremely gifted evil that is a very effective. And that's what they're talking about with the Sith. It's internal conflict. Now what happens when this person has paranormal abilities? In other words, this person is a psychic. What happens then? You now have a very gifted fucking psychopath who's gone beyond good and evil, who's very intelligent, and he has psychic abilities. That's what a Sith is. That's what a Sith is. That's
Which, if that really existed, we'd be in big trouble.
It does exist. It does exist. But it doesn't exist, as far as I know, to the level of what they're showing you in those movies.
That's what I mean.
The most extreme version of that would be kind of like what you see in poltergeist cases. But as far as I know, they can't control it. I can't control what moves. Jenny's seen it. She's seen it. It's not something that can be controlled.
But if it exists, it seems predicated upon you not being conscious.
You can't be conscious of it
what you're
because
doing.
it's something having to do with the unconscious, kind of like what they're talking about with Carl Jung.
I mean, the fact that you're conscious of it kind of like
Can
fucks
foil
it up.
it.
Sure.
Thinking about it foils it because conscious thought can't do it.
If that is a failsafe, I'm glad that is
right,
there.
right.
Because otherwise we would be hosed
So
big time.
humans, whatever it is, humans are not really built to use that. Aliens maybe. Higher creatures that are more highly evolved might be like that. I'm saying that for real, based on what I've seen. Now, intellectuals are going to say this motherfucker's crazy. I'm not an intellectual. I have instincts and experiences. Being intellectual can stop that kind of stuff, and it's not supernatural. It's something having to do with quantum physics. You want to look at that guy who's into anesthesia. Fuck, man, what's his name?
Stuart Hammeroff.
Yeah, Stuart Hammeroff and
Roger Penrose.
And Roger Penrose, the guy who has the
hey, I'm drunk and I can still come up.
Yeah, but, Hammeroff and Penrose. And Hammeroff and Penrose have come out with new videos in the past couple of years. Listen to them. I listened to one more recently and I was like, yeah, okay. And in the end, Hammeroff is like, and this stuff that I'm talking about might explain certain things that people call paranormal phenomena. It is paranormal, but it's not supernatural. It's quantum. It has to do with quantum physics. It's just not going to be as theatrical as you see in Star Wars, and it's not going to be as controllable. It's going to be more along the lines of what you see in fucking This House is Haunted and Mammoth Mountain Poltergeist. It's going to be weird phenomenon that happen randomly. RSPK, recurrent spontaneous psychokinesis. And here's the thing. If L. Ron Hubbard believed this, what I just told you. He was a crackpot, though. A total crackpot. He thought you could train somebody to do this, Jedi style. You can't. But one of his dudes, who was like one of his main fucking right-hand man accountants, was having fucking out-of-body experiences and had these experiences. He joined Scientology, and it foiled all of his abilities to do it. It's something very naturalistic. I'm trying to remember what his name was. He was the only black guy in Scientology, and he had some paranoia.
He probably was, actually.
Yeah, he was the only black guy in Scientology, and L. Ron Hubbard knew him and put him in charge of all the finances and all the higher stuff. I'm trying to remember what his name is. You can find him on YouTube. He did whole interviews and talked about how turned out Scientology was all full of shit, and that it actually and that it
you
actually,
don't say.
Yeah, and that it actually prevents you from having these experiences. It doesn't promote them. Because thinking about it too much, trying to have some kind of fucking organized training program, trying to force things, that's not how the human mind works. That's not how the human consciousness works. It's a very natural process that happens when you least expect it. A lot of it kind of semi-dream states, altered consciousness states, extreme emotional states can kind of, if you allow it, can kind of allow it to happen, but you won't be able to control the phenomenon. It's under the control of your unconscious mind, like a Jungian mind. The dark side. In my case, it was the dark side. So I'm kind of scared of it.
Hugo says, have you guys seen What the Bleep Do We Know? If so, what are your thoughts? That movie is pretty much bullshit from top to bottom. Bullshit from top to bottom. It sounds good, but I don't know. I watched it a while back and I was just kind of like, you guys sound like you're saying something like cool and important and everything, but you're not actually saying anything that means anything.
T's talking about pistachio cookies from Trader Joe's. Man, I've been hearing about Trader Joe's.
Do we have a...
We have the other one.
No, we have Trader Joe's.
We have Trader Joe's?
There's a Trader Joe's in... I think there's one in Lake Mary.
Lake Mary? We got to check it out. We'll go.
I think there's one in Lake Mary.
Because there's Trader Joe's, and what's the other one? You have Aldi's and then the other one. Trader Joe's and then the other one. Remember?
Well, there's World Market.
I thought Trader Joe's had two different forms.
I'm not real sure what you're
kind of like Aldi has two different forms. There's two different Aldis.
No, but there's only Aldi. The Aldi that we have is the only Aldi that exists in the U.S.
Okay.
The only other Aldi is like Europe.
Okay.
Because there's two different.
Now, isn't there two different forms of Trader Joe?
I don't know.
I thought there was.
But Trader Joe's is pretty like... We have a Trader Joe's.
We have a Trader Joe's, right, yeah.
It's in... I'm pretty sure it's in Lake Mary.
Okay.
I passed it.
The thing with Trader Joe's is that it's very high quality products. They have their own store brands and they're good. And the prices are pretty good. Trader Joe's is good.
John Robertson is asking me if I have any Peter Cushing movie recommendations. Okay. I have to say, Peter Cushing... I love him in any movie, okay? Any movie that he's in is good. But, honestly, I have to say that any movie that he's in with Christopher Lee, that's going to go right to the top of the list because I really liked their interactions with one another. So I really liked, like, Horror Express, for example, because they were both in it. I reviewed one recently that he was in, that Peter Cushing was in, but not Christopher Lee. Which was the one with called The Beast Must Die, which was the one with the werewolf break. He's not in it a lot, but, you know, I was kind of into that. Any one where he kind of plays, I don't know, like, what was that one that, shit, man, I'm kind of, like, drunk and I can't, like, remember right now. But the one that he was in with Christopher Lee and he played the thing and... He played the scientist, and Christopher Lee was, like, the guy that had the skeleton. I'll think it, like, in a minute. But, yeah. I mean, he was really good. I kind of feel like he played a lot of, like, fucking doctor kind of characters. And I was, like, into that, too. Yeah, Horror Express. That's a really good one. But, you know. He was good in a lot of there were a lot of anthologies too. He was a lot of in a lot of Amicus ones. And Tales from the Crypt. Was he in that one? House of Drip Blood. What was that other one? I can't remember now. But he was in a lot of like Amicus ones. And those are all good too. I love like anthology horror. So John Gora says, I watched Land of the Minotaur last night with Donald Pleasance. It's fun. Oh, I don't think I've ever seen that one, actually. Pistachio cookies are great to dunk in your coffee or tea. Okay. Did you see the new Creepshow episode where some nerd had a VR machine to insert himself into movies in Horror Express? Yes. We did see that one. We actually kept up with the new Creepshow stuff. We reviewed some of them. But I remember that one. You remember that Creepshow episode?
Which one?
The one that was like about the guy that inserted himself into Horror Express, the Peter Cushing / Chris
Yeah. I
movie.
remember that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, that was Justin Long, right? The guy that was in Tusk.
Yeah.
He was in that.
Yeah.
That was a good episode. I actually really liked that episode. If you have Shudder, watch the new Creepshow.
Yeah.
Most of them were like actually really good. I think they got a new season.
Okay.
But we'll see.
Now, John Robertson, did I answer your question? Enough. Okay. Unless you want to, if there's a second, if there's a follow-up question, I'll take it.
He was asking me if I could think of any good Peter Cushing movies, and I'm like,
okay.
God, all of them are like fucking...
Journey to the Center of the Earth.
Oh, that's a good one too.
I like that one.
Yeah, Christopher Lee wasn't in that
It
one.
had fucking Caroline Munro's fucking hot ass in it.
That's right. I forgot about that.
That's right. And her boobs.
Yeah. Christopher Lee was not in that one, but yeah, Peter Cushing was in that.
He wasn't in that one?
No.
I thought he... No, At Earth's Core.
At Earth's Core.
At Earth's Core.
Yeah,
That's what I thought. But was Caroline Munro in that one?
I
think she was in that one.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking. At Earth's Core.
At Earth's Core. That was the name.
Pretty good movie.
Yeah, it was him and what's that motherfucker's name? The guy that was in Humanoids from the Deep.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember his guy's name.
I'll think of it.
Yeah.
It's right on the tip of my tongue.
Shit.
Help me. Somebody help me. Help me.
Check out At
McClure.
McClure. That's
Doug
right.
McClure.
Yeah, Doug McClure. Check out At Earth's Core.
Doug McClure. It was Doug McClure.
Yeah.
And Peter Cushing.
And Caroline Munro.
And, well, they get into, like, a penis-shaped thing that's
You get into a penis-shaped drilling machine that drills deep up in your
drills into the earth.
Drips down into your core. Into your fucking... Because you know... Fucking
and then they go and they find a whole fucking world under there.
That's right. And there's hotties
and
down
Caroline
there.
Munro is there.
And, yeah,
with her
hotties
boobs.
in there.
And also...
Psychic fucking pterodactyls are in there.
That's right.
Psychic pterodactyls.
It sounds weird,
Fucking,
but we're
right.
not making that up.
It's just I saw that shit in the movie theater. I think Kimmy took me to see that one. My baby said.
I honestly have a soft spot for that movie.
Yeah.
I
think it was like what, 75, 77 maybe, 76.
Yeah, it's like mid to late
76.
70s.
Yeah, around 76.
That was kind of like one of those.
Yeah. Kimmy took me to see that, I think, and then fucking Sinbad, the Sinbad movies, the Sinbad and the Eye of the Tiger.
I saw that at the drive-in when I was a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, man, that was Oh, that was like just one Trader Joe's. Everybody's excited about Horror Express. I mean, Horror Express that had fucking Telly Savalas in it also, briefly.
Yeah.
He's kind of like a tangential character, but okay. Who's that? Did you see the new? Yeah, okay, I answer that. Favorite Hammer horror. Ooh, that's a rough one. I don't know. I like the Dracula ones, but I don't know. I kind of feel like the first Dracula one is my favorite, but there's like a lot of other ones that I was into as well. Shit, man. I even like some of the 70s Dracula ones. I mean, even though they were like super cheesy.
John's asking me, says, yeah, Tom, you answered it really well. I'm kind of curious to see if you could choose your Sith name. Would it be? I couldn't choose a Sith name because a Sith had to be a Lord. He had to be a fully functioning fucking Sith. So I couldn't be that. I would be what would be called kind of like a person with what would be in Star Wars terminology, it would be a dark side affinity. So, no, it couldn't be a Sith. I wouldn't even have a name.
Oh.
Yeah, we didn't have a name. Because a Sith Lord would have almost fucking full abilities in terms of fucking psychokinesis.
You're not giving yourself
You have to have at least psychokinesis.
full accolades?
No.
In that... Okay.
No, you have to have psychokinesis, first of all. You have to have fucking dark side affinity. You have to have precognition. Certain amounts of fucking ESP. So no, I wouldn't be a Sith. I would just have dark side affinity. Yeah.
Ben says Darth and Furious.
Darth and Furious. Yeah.
I could I wondered if I could like think of a name, but I just like blanked out on it. I blanked out. Oh well. What are you gonna do? Khan says, "Yeah, I remember those sexual pterodactyls. I had totally forgotten about.
They were sexual pterodactyls.
Well, there was.
They
that
were
whole...
partly sexual. Yes, they were sexual. I forgot.
Yeah.
They wanted to crossbreed with women, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or did they just eat people?
Well, there was that whole thing where
Sexual
they were kind of like,
yeah,
look, we have this cave.
We got a hot chick. We're gonna
and
get this one.
there's pterodactyls.
Yeah, they were psychic, psychosexual pterodactyls.
And they were like doing like sexual. They were staring at people, and, like giving them like psychic messages and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not making it up. That does happen in the movie.
Yeah.
That does happen. I'm not making it up.
Well, that's Khan that said that. Yeah. That's funny.
Well, sometimes I feel like we say some shit that actually happened in a real movie, and people think we're like making it up.
Yeah.
Like I'm just drunk, and I'm just like, no, I was like, that actually did happen in the movie.
Right.
There was a movie that had that.
You're saying to be a Sith, you got to have a raspy voice. No, there's a lot more to it than that. Ultimate Sith would have been kind of basically like what was his name? Darth Plagueis the Wise, from what they're describing. He was evidently killing things and then using psychic abilities to bring these things back to life. Or to bring things up to the brick of death and then to keep them alive.
Look at her.
Okay. So that's a pretty that's a pretty hardcore skill, psychic ability. And that's a very cruel, that you would have to use very cruel methods to practice that. You'd have to kill a bunch of little things, animals, and try to bring them back or to keep them from dying.
No, thank you.
And then you have to work your way up to humans to understand how to keep things from dying and how to bring things back to life. And then evidently, according to the lore, how to bring something to life that had never lived before. In other words, making kind of like a golem out of psychic energy to bring a life form out of it.
Yeah, you just pulling some shit out of
pulling some shit out of his ass that's alive. Which evidently that's
like a shit monster.
Evidently that's what fucking Anakin was. And then you take that, you put that into a woman, and she gives birth. See.
Wait, you're putting a shit monster into my womb?
Yeah. It was. She said he had no father.
This is messed up.
So that's a pretty.
So I'm giving birth to Mr. Hanky, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know what it was.
I don't know. That's the direction.
But what they're talking about is necromancy. That's what they're talking about. Bringing things back to life.
Well, yeah, everybody knows that. That's what necromancy is.
Right.
I learned about necromancy as a child in the John Belair's book, The House with a Clock in Its Walls, because it was necromancy.
Yeah.
So I learned about that when I was like 10.
Yeah.
Where did Pookie go?
And somebody saying I'm not sure Anakin was ever a Jedi, he was just or never a Sith, he's just a lapsed Jedi. No, I disagree. He was a Sith. He was a Jedi that turned into a Sith and then died. He died. He died on Mustafar. And then the Emperor basically revived him and brought him back to life. Kept him alive.
So you're my bitch now.
Yeah. He was basically kind of like a cross between a zombie, a Frankenstein, and a RoboCop all at once. He's being kept alive by the Emperor. That's why he told Luke, he says, I cannot betray my master. You don't understand the fucking power of the dark side. He couldn't betray his master because that was where the source of his life force was coming from. That's why when Luke tried to fucking says, oh, I'll save you. Let's get out of here. And he's like, no, you don't understand. It's over. Because once the Emperor was dead, Vader was gone. Because that was what was keeping him alive.
Well, he was like animating him.
Yeah, he was keeping him animated.
Yeah.
He was an undead, basically.
I kind of like that aspect of the mythology, though.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like they didn't go into that enough.
No, he was undead, kind of, basically.
Yeah.
He was like a vampire. A vampire
essentially, yeah.
Feeding off of a fucking master.
Yeah. John says, it's okay, Tom. I'll be the Sith Lord. My Sith name would be Darth Caledus, which means cunning in Latin.
Okay.
But I would not be a Sith. I'd be more of a Grey Jedi.
Yeah, okay.
You kind of feel... Yeah, I feel like you would probably be a Sith Lord.
Who?
You.
No, I'm not evil enough.
You're not evil?
No.
Really?
Oh, yeah. According to the lore, and this would fit in with fucking other, like I said, Lucas isn't pulling this out of his ass. This is all coming from fucking Joseph Campbell and stuff inside Buddhism and Nietzscheanism. The idea of a fucking Sith Lord is someone who's gone beyond good and evil. So there's no difference between good and evil. They're higher than that. You have to kill a lot of things, okay, and be unaffected by it. So you have to be a psychopath. But you can't be a garden variety criminal psychopath. You have to be a genius psychopath. You're talking about you're taking somebody who's like Rembrandt or fucking Mozart and you're turning this person, you're elevating them outside of the normal boundaries of fucking morality and turning them to basically a demiurge, which is a devil god. That's what you're talking about in terms of fucking... that's what the Greeks would call it, a demiurge, a devil god, a god like Satan.
So you're becoming like an edgelord.
You can create or destroy with equal amounts. It doesn't matter. It's just willpower. I will kill you or I will create you. That's what they're talking about. That's what the true power of the dark side was. No limits at all. It was nothing about accruing power. The ability to create or to destroy, which that's what the yin-yang symbol is, yin and yang. That is also what the swastika was, the axis upon which nature turns. That's what they're talking about.
Which prior to the Nazis, like, fucking it all up, but it used to be...
No, the Nazis were...
but I mean, it had a meaning prior to that.
It still had the meaning. It's the same meaning. It's, we are controlling shit. Doesn't matter what you think of it. It is creation and destruction. Change.
Sorry, I just thought of...
We are above good and evil. We will kill you or we will help you depending on what we want. That's exactly what they're talking about. There's no edgelordy about it. When you murder millions of people, not giving a shit because you're trying to achieve a goal, then it isn't bullshit. That's exactly what they were talking about. That's not edgelord. That's what it was. They were bad. They have gone beyond. They went beyond it.
Well, I'm mostly talking about people
psychopathic.
that take that on as like a mantle, being edgelordy.
Well, when you're like that, you become the center of attention. You are the axis upon which the earth turns. That is exactly what they're talking about.
Dude, get over yourself.
Yeah, right.
Get over yourself.
Well, if you show up into a room with a bunch of people with an assault rifle, you start raping women and killing people and fucking smacking bitches and throwing them out the window and doing whatever you want, in that little room, you are the axis upon which the earth turns. That's what they're talking about. And then they're saying, I'm going to reward you and punish you. You're a devil god. That's what they're talking about. And here's the thing. You're making a moral judgment. That's bad. They're even beyond that. They don't care if it's bad or good. It's only their will. So you're saying, like, this is psychopathy at its fucking highest order.
Yeah.
Psycho.
Yeah.
Psycho. A force of nature. And, that's what they're talking about.
And that is why you should not be allowed to, like, live in regular society.
They're not in society, they're in nature. That's how they put it. So what they've gone is they've reversed back, I don't want to say reverted, because they didn't see it as reversion. They saw it as going back or returning to nature of fucking prey and predator. That they are lions and you are lambs. That the wolves are running wild because you are prey and they are the top echelon of the predator system. They are hurting you, but they like that. In the same way that a fucking wolf is devouring a rabbit. The wolf isn't making a moral judgment. They're just eating a rabbit. They don't care that you're a human being. That's part of the power. That they've gone beyond that. That's what they're talking about. I've fucking studied it over and over again through all the different philosophies. Is it evil? Yeah. Yeah. But what the philosophy is saying is that they're saying life itself is evil. To live is to be wrong. Because life is about the survival of the fittest. It's kind of like lions eating things and life feeding on things and one thing imposing on another. So therefore you cannot exist in a state of fairness. Everything is unfair. So they're just embracing that. They're just saying, okay, then all this is meaningless. We might as well kill all our enemies and get as much as we can because none of this means anything. So it's better to live in a state of where I run shit than to live in a state where I'm a servant to somebody else, so I'm gonna fucking kill you and take what I want. It is very criminal. Very criminal. But that's the way animals are. So it's animalistic. That's what we're talking about. That's what they're talking about.
Con says, Jenny, there's a new series called From. It's on Epix. In a nightmarish town in middle America that traps everyone who enters, unwilling residents strive to stay alive and search for a way out, but they're plagued by a terrifying nocturnal creature. That sounds kind of good. Yeah. Everybody says that sounds good. I will check that out at some point. I don't have Epix. That's like an add-on, right? For like Hulu or Amazon Prime or something? Yeah. But that does sound good. I will say, though, I still haven't finished Archive 81. Like, I want to finish it. I just haven't finished it yet. So, I have a hard time, like, finishing series. You know. Let's see. The Nanny is free on YouTube. Oh, that's the one with, like, Betty Davis. Yeah, that's what she was talking about earlier. So, I don't know. It's almost 4 hours.
Tina's telling me to get on Breaking Bad. Yeah, I've heard about it, man. Everybody says I'd love it, and everybody thinks it's a great series.
I mean, I know what happens in it.
Right.
Because I haven't, but I've never, like, sat down and watched the whole series, which is one of the things that I really need to do at some point. I mean, it's one of those things that everybody's, like, gotta watch. I was thinking about it the other day because I saw that I was flicking through the shit on Amazon Prime, and it's like, oh, they had Mad Men, which I actually saw the first 4 seasons, I think. And then I was like, oh, I gotta finish that. And, like, I never did because I got distracted by other things. But I kind of feel like Breaking Bad is one of those series that you kind of have to see. Like, because it's part of the cultural zeitgeist. And if you haven't seen it, I don't know. It's one of those things like Game of Thrones. You probably need to watch that too. And it's like, you know, otherwise you don't, like, you miss out on a lot of stuff that's references. So.
There's a real good book that I'm gonna go ahead and recommend to you people who are all into Star Wars and the Sith and everything. And I read this book a long time ago. The audio book is on YouTube. Okay, it's 3 hours long. All right, it's called Nietzsche and the Nazis. Okay, Stephen Hicks is his name. And he explains the difference between Nietzsche and what the Nazis believed, but also the parallels. And he explains exactly what the Nazis believed. And it's basically what I just told Jenny. It is not, what they were talking about was not some kind of crackpot philosophy. It was a very real philosophy that is very dangerous. But it's also very naturalistic, but it comes from the animal world. So I recommend listen to that. He'll explain it more in depth. Other than that, how long have we been going? Jenny runs off to the restroom. But that's who I was basically quoting, and that's where my understanding of it comes from. And that is basically where Joseph Campbell got the ideas from Star Wars from the Sith. It was a philosophical machine gun. That'd be a good way to put it. It's a way of fucking looking at things to give yourself license to do whatever you want and become a kamikaze. They were kamikazes. They didn't even expect to live when they did that shit. Now, the average person who was involved in that shit didn't really know what was going on, but you're talking about the higher levels of them. They knew what it was. I think they also knew that they would die. The thing is philosophy. Philosophy very tightly wound with religion. Is philosophy real? I'm not sure. Philosophy is dangerous, though. It might even be safer to believe in nothing than to believe in a lot of that stuff. So we've been on for 4 hours?
Yeah.
Okay, it's time to go. Shut it down.
Get a Breaking Bad. Wait a minute.
Okay.
Peaky Blinders. You are... I've been meaning to get to that, too, because you're not the first person that has recommended that to me. So I need to get into that also. God, there's so much stuff. I'm so, like, fucking behind on stuff. Mike says my weed beer is going to... Weed beer? Okay. Yeah. So we went on for 4 hours. It's Friday night. I'm kind of hungry.
Okay.
And...
No shit, that means I have to come up with somebody. Oh, you know, I got egg salad already made up.
Yeah.
With
Look
fresh
what you
bread
do to
and
the
everything.
lighting.
I do what I want.
You do what you want? You fuck up everything?
I fuck up the lights if I want.
I don't know if that fixed it.
Okay.
Eggs, sausage, pancakes. Off to make breakfast for dinner, says Gillette. Man, that sounds good. All right, we do have egg salad, though, so we'll probably just have egg salad sandwiches.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we will be back on Sunday. Not entirely sure what movie we're going to talk about. We'll probably watch something tomorrow night and talk about that on Sunday. But thanks, everybody, for dropping by this evening and having, a good time and having some cocktails and hanging out with us on this Friday night. We will see you guys again on Sunday afternoon when we talk about whatever movie it is that we're going to talk about. So thanks, everybody, for dropping by. We'll see you guys on Sunday afternoon. And